Here, still.
Goat cheese salad.
Yummy, yummy.
Whoa. Hey!
Welcome.
Hey!
Good water, then we're gonna be good to go.
Hey! Hey! So this is microphones. So, talk.
Oh.
You recording there, Dylan?
No, sir.
Go do it up, because we are
Oh, do it up!
ready to get cracking.
Crackdown 3. Terry Crew cut.
What's that, 91?
So, I hit record.
Help! No.
Shallow.
Get over here. Make sure that Dylan is looking good and toasty in the camera.
Roasty and toasty.
Move back. I'll move that way a little bit and then back a little bit.
Woo!
Perfect. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to E3 2018, episode 191 of the GeekVerse podcast. I'm the best podcast machine. Trust now.
The best podcast machine. What does that mean exactly?
It's confidential.
That's confidential. I am the out of hardcaster, Dylan Muss.
The zippy zappy talent birds.
Zippy zapped.
Oh, I am the Philabulous Taylor Field.
Philabulous.
Yeah, nice. Trav, did you see that one of the comments there was where's Superman?
I saw a lot of it. I didn't want to get distracted because the chat we were watching was popping off, so I want to focus on our podcast, so I turned the TV
Very
off.
distracting chat.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to review the second conference of E3. One of the big ones, Xbox, Microsoft, is here. They're gone. They've done their conference. It was about an hour and 40, like they said. We're going to give our overalls if you've not been to E3 review before, like our movie reviews. We'll give an overall, and then we'll get into the specifics of all the announcements and games and give a nice little rating at the end out of 5. So I'm going to give the floor to Taylor Field because he's, Xbox. He's the only one that owns an Xbox One. He's wearing a Halo Wars 2 shirt.
Too, that's a bold choice.
You have some good socks today. Briggs is the odd man out today. What do you got?
I have Einstein socks.
Iron Man. I have regular socks.
I have cinnamon
You're
toast crunch
Taylor
socks.
yesterday. Taylor had those.
Okay, yeah.
Me and Dylan have a streak going. 2 days in a row we've had themed socks. So tomorrow we gotta
What's
do
the
it.
theme of
They're
those
not
socks?
themed.
Cinnamon toast.
Just any theme.
Just,
Oh,
they
it's
just can't be regular
normal.
socks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, they're a theme.
I mean, these are regular socks because all my
Einstein-
socks are interesting.
But people
so.
don't know Einstein created cinnamon toast, so
He did actually after he created math.
But what did Phil Spencer create today, Taylor Field? Was it a good conference?
For me, I really, really enjoyed this conference. The only con that I'm just going to throw out there, which we'll get to talk about, is the fact that you couldn't read the subtitles of the release dates or anything for their...
Presentation not the best.
No, not at all. Like, it was very speedy and all that stuff, but that being said, I feel like it was completely 95% focused on just the games, with a small smidge, maybe like 97% on the games, and a small smidge percent focused on, their hardware, which is at the very, very end. Which
No
I'm totally
teraflops.
okay with that. No
Not a
teraflops.
single word
Um,
of the flop was...
I'm very happy with that. I feel like, I wasn't expecting them to just instantly make a huge change. Here's as they said, 20 new world premieres, 15 exclusives, and 50 new titles, or 50 games. Or
The numbers don't matter. There are a bunch
No,
of them are just some
but
reels and they're
I don't. At the end of the day, I wasn't expecting that was great, but I wasn't expecting it to be okay. Here's all these huge brand new IPs that we're dropping, all exclusive. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting to see progression to leading towards something, and I feel like they did. The past E3s, it was them working on different things for the console and trying to make a better system, and progressing towards getting these games and these titles ready to be played on this console, which they keep preaching is the best console in the world. Like it is. It's up there, and
It's up there.
It's
definitely up there.
That's a big step down from best console in the world.
I think that I'm not disappointed whatsoever with this. Like as I said, I wasn't expecting them to just drop all these brand new the huge brand new exclusives for their game or their console.
No, they don't do that stuff.
I'm happy that they showed that this was all game focused and oriented, and that is what they've listened. They've taken that into account. They're focusing on the games, and they even mentioned they've got their studio working on brand new Xbox exclusive IPs, which I think is fantastic, and I think, you know, this is exactly the step in the right direction that I wanted from Xbox. So I had no complaints whatsoever, and I can't imagine.
You didn't have to wait. You could keep talking and wait.
Miscellaneous person showing up.
Yeah.
You know.
But I honestly I feel like next year is just gonna be even better. So I'm totally okay with this.
I'll go because I'm a bit more negative than Ted feel. I agree with you. And it's not an awful conference. It was a good conference. It was well paced. Yeah, the video presentation was a bitch. Anytime there's important information, dates, exclusive, this, that, panning of the screen, it's like I can't read this shit. So that was quite annoying. I think it was a good future-proofing one because I will agree. I think next year could be big, but I think the problem is this conference is just going to be, other than a few games, it's just going to be a conference that kind of happened. I'm basing it off of, I think Bethesda's going to have a good conference. I think Sony's going to have a good conference. I think Nintendo will too. So I think they're kind of just going to be forgotten about. I think this conference is fine, but other than a few things, again, when it's like, oh, I feel like they're always trying to overcompensate when they're like 50 games, 18 exclusives, this and that, but at the end of the day, people aren't really going to be talking about anything that new from this conference. I think there's games that they'll be talking about, but it'll be like Anthem, where it's like, well, at the end of the day, we're still going to be able to play this everywhere. The future-proofing is when they announced all of these 5 studios, I think they're gearing up for when they tease the new console at the end of this conference. I think they're gearing up for when that comes, they're going to have a bunch of new exclusives and whatnot, and that's where you and I are different. I look for something, what's going to be unique about Xbox. For me, there's nothing that unique other than, okay, they get the DLC rights to this game, that's kind of cool. Also, we'll talk about specific games, but there's nothing... there obviously, because there's rumors, stuff like that, so like jokingly I was like Superman, but there's nothing, even like Cyberpunk, I really liked the reveal, but it didn't blow me away. You know, I was like, okay, cool, this game seems like it's coming sooner and I'm interested in it, but nothing... maybe once we go over it, I'll change my tune, but nothing to really write home about for me. But I think it was well paced. There's a few times Phil Spencer talked about the team and stuff too much. He came out about 4 times. You could have cut that down twice. Have him at the beginning, have him at the end. That's all you really need. But him talking about watch along, like inspirations of the gamers and this and that. It's like, I don't care, dude. Like, I guess that's what you say, but like, it's just like, let's just get on with it. So, yeah, it was a good conference. There's some good games. So, yeah, we'll talk about it. So I'm kind of somewhere above that, not above, a good conference. Like, good, but I'm not hyped, you know?
I think this is their best conference in a while. Like,
I can give you that.
Comparing to the last 3 years, and it's because what Taylor said, you know, focus on the games.
No Minecraft girl on Xbox. She usually appears
No
here.
Minecraft girl, yeah. She always makes some lame appearance, but not this time. But yeah, focus on the games, which is nice. So yeah, I think the pacing was really good, and this is something that they've kind of struggled with the last couple of years. There's a couple points where they had people talking and they're kind of repeating themselves a little bit, but honestly it wasn't really all that bad. And yeah, a lot of really cool, like a lot of things that were surprising and new, things I didn't really expect. Nothing that like is just for Xbox in terms of exclusives that is selling me the console like the Sony conference did a couple of years ago. But still, I think that was a really impressive conference. Like there was a lot of really fun games to see there. Some things that I had no idea I was like even had expected, and then they just kind of surprised us. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty solid conference overall. I think one thing I'm really curious about is Halo Infinite, and I don't know why they didn't talk about that more. Maybe it's because it's really far out still.
I think so, yeah.
It really has to be, or else I don't know why they wouldn't talk about it more. You said that it might be a Royale game. I didn't really expect Halo to kind of jump into that market.
It's something that's been, from what I read, like in the works for a couple years. It is on a new game engine as well, and I'm seeing that it's also obviously the next installment in the series. That's, you know, they're learned from Halo 5. So I'm very confused exactly what it is. I'm very confident still it is a Royale mode.
Yeah. I
feel like, you know, in the direction of the actual Master Chief story, which they did
mention. A mode, or is
mention.
it a spin-off, do you think, or it's just focused on that?
Oh, what, sorry?
Do you think it's a mode, or is this like a spin-off
I think it's an
version
actual
that's
spin-off.
It's a less expensive, like maybe $30-$40 game.
I think it's its own spin-off, standalone game.
Really?
I can't see it being, because it's just like it is a new game engine they said that they're using, like Slipspace. But I feel like just graphically what they were showing, the cinematic, it just was so different from Halo 5 and previous Halo titles.
Right.
It seemed more like a Halo Wars kind of graphic style.
My question I'll throw then, if it is like a Royale game, shouldn't we be getting that in the next year, you would say? Like, to capitalize off that hype?
I mean, it also, I don't think it said...
It said nothing.
343 or anything around
it.
No,
that
it did.
Yeah, that, okay.
It did say 343.
I'm more
Very
telling
small
from,
text.
we didn't get any date. We didn't even get like a 2019
No.
fall 2019. So that's my thing of. I don't know as far as where the Royale goes. Like all these games right now seem that are capitalized on Royale. It's happening.
You
this
got
fall,
to do
right?
it now because it's eventually gonna die off. People aren't gonna be so stoked by that.
Yeah. So if this is like 2019 fall, it's like.
But it depends too, like what they're trying to do, because obviously with Halo 5, you know, they focused heavily on certain other aspects. That they had, a huge thing was they took out the split screen couch co-op, which is it's a big feature of the game. So I'm wondering, maybe they're dishing this out as its own thing, which has been in the works for a few years. That way they can focus on Halo 6, keeping its multiplayer, bring back the split screen, keeping certain core features to the game. I don't really know, because I mean, as I said, like we just got a short cutscene for Infinity, and that's it. So
not even 30 seconds.
If that is indeed the next installment, and that is our Halo 6, I would be very upset with that. I wasn't a fan of. It's just I don't get why the graphics would take a step down.
It
in
looks
that sense.
step down.
Yeah, maybe it's still early on or something. They're still
could be
trying to figure out what
early
it is.
in-game footage.
Yeah.
Engines.
The other, so one thing that's always kind of confusing with the Xbox conferences is what exactly is exclusive to the console, what's a timed exclusive,
console
and
exclusive,
what's coming to like PC and stuff. So it's hard for me to gauge exactly what is only Xbox stuff, but I think it was really good that they had 3 Gears things. I think that's awesome. You know, the Gears 5, but then also a couple spin-offs. So I think the Tactics is a great idea. It's very similar to XCOM in terms of like art style and stuff, and I think it fits. Because obviously in Gears there's already chest-high walls everywhere, so it fits that cover system perfectly. You know, the
Gears
pop
Pop?
game might be stupid, but whatever. It's just a mobile game, so it's cool that they throw it in there. If they just showed that and then didn't have the gear stuff afterwards, it would have been a big fake out.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been like, that's a big error, but obviously they backed up with 2 actually like full games, so I think that's really awesome. The other, so Devil May Cry, is that exclusive? Did we catch that?
They didn't say, but I don't think it's exclusive. I don't think Capcom can afford.
I mean, I've never played those games, so I don't have like a big attachment to it or anything, but. Yeah, overall, I think that was a really good conference. I mean, not it's different than Sony because Sony always just shows exclusives, like things that are only theirs. So obviously Microsoft has a different style, and I don't know, I think it works. I think it's cool to see all these other games. Like there's a lot of really exciting stuff and things that I'm going to be keeping track of because of this conference, even if it's not stuff that's exclusively on Xbox, which I don't know if they want that necessarily, but and then the Game Pass thing, we'll talk about that in a bit, but that was really interesting how much stuff is going directly to Game Pass. Briggs.
I thought it was a pretty good conference. Step up from what I remember. I don't know if I watched the conference last year, but from 2 years ago, it was a pretty good one. I liked a lot of the gameplay they showed, and a lot of the game reveals were actually really well done as far as what they revealed. As far as I think. Obviously, you guys mentioned it before, but Phil Spencer was talking a bit much. I think that definitely dragged on.
Yeah, he's kind of monotone, isn't he?
A lot the game. I think the whole conference itself, though, it lacked some sort of immersion and theme to it. I guess. It just felt kind of like bland. They showed literally all they did was just show games, talk a little bit, show games. There wasn't really any overarching.
Should have been here for EA.
I mean, it's fine. It's good enough. But I mean, that's what they're here to do. But it lacked some impact, I guess, and some depth to it. But that's not always like the biggest thing to miss out on. But yeah, and then not a whole lot else to say. Some cool reveals, nothing groundbreaking, I think.
Yeah.
All things that were in general expected or rumored. There wasn't any like big new IPs or titles that they was just like holy shit, this is happening. It's more just like already discussed things that have already happened and whatnot, and things that we were expecting. So nothing new, nothing.
I think there was some unexpected stuff here. Jump Force, Devil May Cry, like did you see those?
Devil May Cry was rumored,
No.
so I'll give them. And I just feel like that's not like a. I think it's a good reveal, but I don't think it's one of those like.
But I don't think it's fair to say that there wasn't anything new with
but
that.
I feel like nothing that
Battletoads
was pretty safe.
They handled that well.
Nothing that I think hasn't been done before, though.
Okay.
I would say.
I'm on Tyler's bandwagon where like I'm gonna be this guy. With Sony, when it's like it's completely new IP, and this is where I'm different, where I value the new IP, and it's like I know nothing about this game, this world, but it hooks me. Where it's like even Devil May Cry 5, it's still a sequel, right? So it's like you know whether you like this game, you know where that's always the flaw with Xbox is like I don't get many of the new titles where I'm like this. So even like Cyberpunk, it's like looks very exciting, and I love the world they build, but I get that on PlayStation, you know, like I have like I don't know, I'm kind of on Brent's bandwagon there about nothing blew me away.
Yeah, like I'm thinking back to that Death Stranding reveal from Sony, and that was just mind blowing and like holy shit, like what's going on? I'm so excited for this, and nothing gave that same impression. Or anything similar to that. So it's pretty cool, but you know, overall, I think to what the standard that other press conferences have said, it's a little bit lackluster. But it got me interested in some things.
Not this year though, because it's just EA, and if you saw EA, it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Like just in general.
I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, because it's all sprinkled throughout, would we want to talk about all the games and then Game Pass, or Game Pass at the beginning and then Games Pass? Because I feel like they were going to have a big conversation about Game Pass. When should we have it?
Hey, let's do it now.
So Game Pass, I'll try and look at all the games they revealed, but they pretty much had Gears 5, Horizon. Crackdown 3. There's another one too that I thought was a bigger. Did they say? Oh, they said Gears 5, wasn't it?
You
saved that one.
I said Gears, Crackdown 3. We'll go along, but lots of their bigger exclusive games were saying Game Pass at launch, so not just eventually. So this is a big thing that.
So Game Pass is like what is exactly?
It's their Netflix.
It's monthly subscription. It's like $12 or something.
$10. So.
$10.
Yeah.
So that's some crazy content.
And are games on there only for a certain period of time, or are they?
I believe so.
Yeah, it works the exact same as Netflix. This may be here for 6 months. They cycle in and out, stuff like that. So
a bunch of other games too, but those are the big ones that you mentioned.
So but once a game cycles out, it's done, or do you download it and then you can always play it?
I think it's the same way as Netflix, right? Where if you're watching the movie, and it's like this movie's gone June 1st. Once it's June 1st, you can't play it anymore. It's gone.
Okay.
I think there is a way though. If you've played it, you can get a discount purchasing it, right?
You can get a discount.
Yeah. So there's other perks and whatnot, but so it's similar.
So it's
to
not the same as how the PS Plus works, where you
not
download
at
a
all.
game,
No, that's their games with gold, right? You can get like the free games.
Games
a month.
with gold, you get free games every month.
Yeah. So it's another service, but that they started this last year, which I thought same thing was very cool, and I still think it's very cool. PlayStation's not going to do it because they don't need to right now, but I think it's a great service, and I guess that's the main thing to talk about is if it's a smart move to be putting things like Gears and Horizon, and I think it's great for the people that have it, but it also reminds me of a few years ago when they started to announce they're going to do PC and everything like that. I still think that hurt them of putting Gears on PC, this and that, because I always use Briggs, you're a big Gears fan, well, you can now get that on PC. You don't have to buy an Xbox, right? And I think this could be the same thing where, like you were talking about, because you want the hard copy, you're going to, but if you're going to buy Gears, why would you spend $80 when you could spend $10?
That's where I want to know, because maybe I was just running my mouth a little bit there, because I'm just like I like to me as a gamer, I like to own my hard copies of things. I don't fully like having things just digitally. That's who I am.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But that being said, I need to do my research more into this. I want to know, okay, if I have Games Pass and I have the Gears of War, then does that mean obviously I can get Gears of War at a discounted price later on? Or how is this actually going to affect people buying hard copies of the games? Or is there going to be some kind of like discount with that, or are they going to change that up
I
somehow?
don't think hard copies, no.
That's what I'm,
That's
so,
like logistically would probably just be a big problem.
Which then, again, it does hurt them a lot now, doesn't it? I guess putting up like the hard copies.
The only thing that might not hurt them, it just is curious. If they are making a good portion of money from this Game Pass thing, that might be the reason they want to push it. And because
the thing is, it's guaranteed to get people to get into Game Pass.
100%.
But the problem is, if you're factoring like, I guess you're not necessarily. So you're gonna 100% get Division 2 anyway, and you're gonna get Gears of War 5. So you're already gonna buy those two games. So now with Game Pass, it's gonna take a long time to pay off those two games for them, really. Like comparing to if you just bought the two games by themselves.
Well, because $80.
If you're paying $12
so like Xbox
before you get to the point where you have like they've essentially made a profit on it, is going to take a while.
See,
and then there's also a bunch of other games that you're just not going to pay for now because you'll get them for free. So I don't know. Like obviously people are gonna. It's going to get them some. It's going to make them money, but there's a chance it'll also lose them money.
But they're also making that $10 every month.
Yeah.
So it's not just they spend the $10 once, they play it for a month and they unsubscribe.
Yeah, but if a game's already $80, $90, even $100 sometimes, then that's like almost a full year of this subscription just for you to pay off like one game essentially.
But that's their hope for the success, is for the long con to be like, okay, they got their $80 back, but then you stay for the 9, and you stay for this, and you stay for longer. I think the first party is the strange ones, because the third party is where you could maybe cut the middleman out. Maybe there's a way they'd make more money doing it this way, but the first party, that's their games, they're making all the money. But I guess their hope is just to get everyone to stay on for, and I think they would. Like, I don't know why you're not on the service. Like, there's so many games. They announced
Well, now you've
like
got it.
Fallout 4 and Division from like older games coming, but
Yeah,
it's
but
just,
I never had really any reason to actually go on to Game Pass, because I mean, I had my set games I was playing, my Battlefront, my Assassin's Creed, like Call of Duty. Like, there was nothing like huge major titles pulling me on there. Just a bunch of other like really cool games that I'd love to try, but nothing that I wanted to spend the money on yet to test out, because I had my main games I was already involved in. But I mean, this is huge. I mean, this is like you said, like Fallout and all this stuff that's available now today. This is a huge push, and I mean, probably like tomorrow or sometime when I get back on my Xbox, I'll probably look and see if I can sign up for
here's
it.
a question you may not know, and I don't know either, so it might be a great question. So let's say Gears of War 5 comes out, you buy it, and you like, or so you get Games Pass, you're playing everything, and you go, okay, I want to buy it because they say, hey, in 3 months this game's no longer on Games Pass, right? If you buy it, I imagine it's gonna keep your saves, right?
Oh yeah, everything
Okay.
on when you play a game on Xbox is all in the cloud.
Yeah.
So if you basically delete everything off your Xbox and pop your game back in, it'll reinstall everything from your memory and your save.
So
games.
other than you on the hard copy, there's no reason for you not to do this, Taylor. And I'll be very mad at you
I
not
know,
to do
no.
this.
I in the end, I'm probably gonna do it unless I could see them saying, okay, you know what? With these brand new games dropped day one on Game Pass, we don't offer the discount. You know, you still have to pay full price, but we hope you enjoy playing it for, you know, the $10 Game Pass price for a few months. I totally see them doing that, and that would be a way to, you know, lessen the blow.
That will be interesting because this is the first time they're doing it. Because the first one they showed was with Crackdown 3, and at first I didn't take that as a big thing for Game Pass. I took that as a slight to Crackdown 3 of like, hey, not people are going to play this, let's put it on. You know, it's like when they sold Cloverfield Paradox to Netflix, like, hey, we're not really enjoying this movie, we don't want to market it, here Netflix, you take it. But now with all these other games, that's a good point to see after, because I think Crackdown's the first biggest one. No, Horizon's coming out in fall, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Couldn't see the fucking...
Yeah.
The
And
dates.
Gears, they didn't have a date for, right? Gears 5?
I don't think so.
So I guess we'll have to see with Horizon if you could get a discount on a new fully game after you've got it on Game Pass, because that could be a thing if they just put the game out there for a month and then after a month, oh, you're gone, you gotta pay full price. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's they're investing a lot of money in this, and they're investing a lot of resources.
Yeah, I'm curious to see those finer details because they obviously have a plan here.
Yeah.
And we'll see if it pays off for them.
And it makes sense. You look at movies, you look at TV, everything's going that way. Like,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's true.
Taylor, but hard copy games will definitely probably be dead soon. Like, like you go to Best Buy, you go to stores, those sections are getting smaller and smaller every year. So, yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. So I'm sure anything else on Game Pass, I'm sure we'll talk about again at some point, maybe. But anything specifically? Do we want to talk anything more on Halo Infinite? I know we talked a lot about at the beginning there. I have nothing more to add, but
I want to know a little bit more what they're doing with this. It worries me a little bit.
I'm just surprised they didn't go into more detail about it at all.
I swear they said they were gonna.
The way they presented things seemed like they would, but
that's the kind of game you bring a developer up to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like with Halo, especially like with all their other big titles like Gears, Fallout, and whatnot. They brought people in to have a little conversation about it. For that one, they just showed Infinite. And
yeah, I feel like it's just got to be super early on. In
yeah, and it was so like, and the trailer itself was just super vague about what it could be.
Driving around.
Well, they had deer and rhinos there.
It seemed like. It seemed like it was going to be more than just a teaser, but then it was literally just a teaser, and yeah, I don't know. I would have liked them to have a little bit more on there, but maybe they literally just have someone's just like, let's do Halo Infinite. What's it going to be? I don't know, but we'll show it at E3.
Yeah, throw some together.
They just felt like it's necessary to have a Halo in their console.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing. Like it's like having the lightsaber in Star Wars. You know,
they wanted
it's
to
not
put
E3
it out
and Xbox without Halo.
They wanted to put it out in E3 2017 like last year, but they just didn't have enough ready for it yet. Which still, I mean,
for Infinite.
For Infinite.
They had enough ready now?
No, exactly. But I mean,
what have they been doing for 12 months?
They've been trying.
Games.
It's something that has been in the works for a few years, and I swear I've seen that term Halo Royale thrown around a lot the last few months. So I've still.
As like memes or like.
I no actual.
Yeah, that's tough to see any game's getting a
probably not
Royale
the same
meme right
places.
now.
Yeah, Skyrim.
Smash
As
Boys.
well.
Smash Boys.
And then after that, they went to Ori and the Blind Forest. Is that what it's called?
Will of the Wisps.
Yeah.
I believe.
I got nothing. I've never played these games. I never will.
It looked cool. It was a good little demo.
Mhm.
They
Beautiful.
showcased a lot of visuals and a lot of cool gameplay mechanics that I think at least got me interested in the game and will have me looking to see if the first game is pretty cheap that I can get.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on there pretty cheap on
I think
Steam.
it did its
Yeah,
job,
really
for sure.
cool game between like the consistency in its art style and like a really powerful soundtrack. I think that they really have a big focus on the art component of it, and I've heard it has a really interesting story as well. So yeah, another one of those games that's been on my bucket list, but haven't gotten to it yet. This is the same one they showed last year.
It was a small tease.
Yeah,
last
and so
year.
they gave. Did you write down the announcement date? They had a date on there.
Nope, but I can find
Wasn't
out.
it? I think it was 2019.
It was.
Yeah, actually, I
2019.
don't think it had a month. I think it was just
Game?
2019
Ori.
for Ori.
Oh yeah, no,
I might not have had a month.
I don't
I'm thinking
remember.
February.
I do.
Everything's February.
You guys are saying that it's probably not the best thing to show, like right after. I mean, they
Halo.
started the show with Halo. It was kind of weird. I think that's a fine game to go to afterwards. I don't know. I don't know how big of a following it has, but it's interesting enough a game. It's a pretty unique game, and I mean it's not exclusive to Xbox, so
Sometime in 2019.
Yeah.
That's the official release date right now. So
Mhm.
this December 2019.
Yeah,
Coming at ya.
I respect the game. It's something different, so it's cool to see.
After that was Sekiro and Shadows Die Twice. Yeah. Nothing I'm gonna play. It looked kind of cool, but yeah, nothing for me. Graphics look a little, all right, but it's for what
Yeah, the
the game
graphics
is.
to me that was kind of surprising. They weren't all that crisp.
No.
And this
Those
is
look like 360 graphics. 360 pixels.
And this
Yeah,
is coming
yeah,
from
that's
the company that, made Dark Souls 3, which is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my entire life. So really kind of shocking to me that the graphics weren't so hot. Maybe that's just for the trailer they had today, and maybe it'll have better graphics or something. But yeah, different style. Look like the areas are a lot more open and a lot more bright and a lot more like movement capabilities. There's like a grappling hook.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement mechanics there. You can jump and whatnot. And
Yeah, so this is quite a bit different than
Mhm.
Dark Souls Bloodborne. But, this company, like, they do a lot of really unique things with their games, between, like, the bonfire system and, like, the way, like, just little mechanics, like, even the way, like,
Yeah.
healing works, like, health potions and stuff like that. It's cool how they just take, like, basic mechanics of games and rework them to actually have, like, purpose,
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely going to have my eye on this game and see more trailers and,
Release
Yeah.
window 2019.
yeah.
One thing that I was really curious about this game actually, but I thought that I think could be a really cool innovation for gameplay mechanics is in the trailer that big boss, like the big fat dude who was pretty much naked,
Yeah.
the giant sword. They showed in the trailer the way he beat the boss was he got killed by the boss, and the boss thought he was dead for some reason. And then he did some weird revive mechanic, and then he goes back and stabbed the boss in the back there.
Huh.
So I don't know if that's maybe just like something for that boss specifically, or if
Yeah.
that's going to be a mechanic to do with throughout the entire game that involves you dying on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that.
Well,
kind
they're
of
definitely going to
evolves.
switch it up. I mean, if you look at what they did with Bloodborne after the Dark Souls games, quite a bit different style in terms of like how the gameplay mechanics work. And then Dark Souls has always been evolving and changing as well in different ways.
Yeah.
So, and even now you have competition on the market who are trying to capitalize on like this kind of more punishing, combat focused game that Dark Souls kind of revitalized, I guess. So now there's competition out there, so they're obviously going to try to push the envelope a bit and come up with some cool features and stuff. So this is a cool reveal, and I think this is a good reveal for Xbox to have it there at their show for sure.
I thought it looked really, really fantastic. I thought, obviously 360 PS3 graphics style, like I said, but hopefully it's something that does improve. I don't know. I think it looked fun. I think that's exactly something that Xbox, need to showcase right now, because I think there's lots of buzz. And did they show that Ninja PS4 exclusive game last year, or?
No, that was at PSX, and then they're showing a showcase
Oh,
tomorrow.
okay.
So, yeah.
See, I think it's cool to show off more games that are around that kind of like.
Ninjas are in right now.
Yeah, ninjas are in. Like totally. So I don't know. It looks pretty cool.
After that was Fallout 76. Todd Howard came out.
Todd Howard.
Yeah, I'll start because I think I'm a bit more on the name side. I we'll put the asterisk of if we didn't have Bethesda later on, I'd be much more negative. Obviously, this was working just kind of a tease for the conference later. But if you take that out for me, it's just nothing happened. We learned it was in West Virginia. They said, oh, it's 4 times bigger, which happens with every game because every game that comes out is bigger. And the trailer was fine. There's some cool situations and cool like areas, but we're still at that point where we don't know what the game is, right? And for someone like myself, if it's something where like we've talked about, we don't think, but like like a Fallout New Vegas versus a Fallout, right? That's something that excites me. But if it's still not like MMO that people have rumored about, that's sort of like I'm completely out. So I can't choose to get excited for this game until I know the specifics. And we got nothing of it, and I don't think this was needed other than, hey, we're later tonight, and everyone's already watching Bethesda, but yeah, for me.
I have a question about this, actually, because Fallout is they're generally first-person games, right?
The Fallout games? Yes. Well, the first 2 weren't.
No,
but then it got
I know
bought
that
by Bethesda.
by Fallout 3 through 4 and New Vegas, they've all been first-person, right? They don't have much for third-person mode, because a lot of what looked like little gameplay clips of the character walking through, that was all third-person.
Well, you can always zoom out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In Elder Scrolls as well, you can always zoom out and play third person.
Okay, cool.
It's not as crisp.
Yeah.
But it's something that gets better with every game.
Okay,
cool.
I play
that's
Fallout
kinda
4
what I was
completely in
asking.
third person.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's not something.
They usually just do that in trailers.
It's
'cause
not
it's more
something
cinematic.
really. Yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to confirm that. Cool.
Yeah. So obviously I need to wait for Bethesda to say for sure, but I mean this game is within Fallout 4's engine for sure. It's bigger, and I am almost certain that it's not an MMO at this point.
I think so
the way
too, but
the way they had like multiple like character avatars walking around makes me think that it is the multiplayer Fallout thing that people have been talking about. And yeah, it's definitely not an MMO. Like the fact that Todd Howard's out here talking about this game, like Todd Howard didn't make Elder Scrolls Online. It was a completely different company who's making that game. So yeah, I was really excited with this because that was a possibility, and I think it kind of debunked that for me. And it's cool that I only have to wait 3 more hours to see more, and hopefully some gameplay, and hopefully get some confirmation that it is like a Borderlands style multiplayer experience. And obviously
with what you're describing, is there going to be much of like a story or campaign though?
Well, so what they focused on in this trailer was that you're kind of the first one out of the vault, whereas normally in other Fallout games there's already settlements and whatnot built, and you go and explore and meet people, and that's part of the story. But this is going to be different because you are one of the first people out, and you're going to have to start rebuilding the wasteland. So I'm really curious to see what that means, because obviously we talked about this on our newscast a couple weeks ago, where Fallout 4, they had like a settlement building mechanic, like pretty substantial in the game, and then they even had a DLC that was 100% guided to making that even better. And that's something that even in Skyrim they had like one DLC where it was just to build houses and make that feature fully amplified. So obviously they've been putting a lot of work into that. So I think it'd be really cool to have that as a big focus, have a really big like not empty world, but obviously just places where people can build like a town, a city. You can build it with your friends, and if that is what this game is going to end up being, then I'm super stoked for that. I think that's amazing, and I think that's a great step for the Fallout series, because talked about this before that I didn't really want Bethesda to do another Fallout game. I like Fallout 4 enough, but I think the direction they were going wasn't my favorite. But I like that this is just 180. We're going to take Fallout 4's engine, take the gameplay, and just push it in a new style. So I'm really excited for Bethesda's conference tonight to get more confirmations on what exactly this game is. But just based off what we did see at this Xbox conference, it's looking positive from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I definitely, the one part there in their trailer they were showing, it showed like the, what was it? What's the armor called?
Power armor.
Power armor, yeah. So they showed it in the ground.
That was cool because that was like the Fallout 1 like cover art.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's the real throwback.
When it was in the ground, it showed like one avatar walking by, and then it showed like another avatar. Yeah. So that was the thing making me think, oh, maybe this is gonna have some co-op elements of some kind, which is very cool. It then when it talked again, like, oh, you have to rebuild and reshape, like the world or anything like that. I thought that was very, very cool, because it seems like they're taking, obviously it was hugely successful with Fallout 4 and incorporating into this. So I don't know, I think it looked really, really cool. Like myself, I'm definitely Elder Scrolls before Fallout, so well, I've been playing it. I wouldn't mind if someone hands me the controller and says, you have to try this, I'll try it, but
you have to try this.
I won't buy it unless they throw it on Games Pass, perhaps, day one.
I
Day
don't
two.
think so. Yeah.
Day 2.
But until then, at least I'll follow 4 to test out on Games Pass.
Yeah, you
so.
do. That's true. And Elder Scrolls Tamriel. I don't know.
Tamriel, yeah, which goes online.
And the Division, if you want to play it again. Anything else on Fallout?
Looks great.
They announced Nier Automata is coming to Xbox. It's a PC and PS4 exclusive, so good for
Nice.
everybody else. Captain Spirit, stupid name, looks like a fun little inspirational game. It's free, but a game I'll never play. But good for people that it has an audience, the Life is Strange audience, I imagine, stuff like that. So if you like those type of games, it looks lots of fun.
So it was a pretty cool narrative. So
Yeah, like this.
I could see myself giving it a try.
Yeah,
And maybe since Life is Strange obviously has some supernatural elements,
it's in that universe.
It's
They're
in that
making
universe,
their
so I
own
think
gaming cinematic.
it could
universe.
start off as something like very innocent and it's all in the kid's head, and then maybe it like seeps into the actual world. And
Story-wise, it
Well,
looks like they're
twisted.
dealing with the loss of his mom and the
Yeah.
dad's wife, obviously, because they keep stressing pictures of the mom and she's not around. So
Yeah.
clearly, I think it's gonna be like that kind of a maybe even overcoming depression sort of game, because that's what Life is Strange plays with, those type of themes. So
yeah,
yeah, it looked well done. So
I like the little Jimmy story arc we got going
Captain
on.
Spirit. No, let me Jimmy hate this game. Fuck doesn't cares.
He's very picky.
Yeah,
No,
he likes
I-
the violence games.
I think obviously it's free, which I think that's awesome. The game, honestly,
Nothing's free, kids. You gotta buy
Nothing's
Game
free.
Pass.
I think
Game's at least $12.
it has what it looked like a really good story that would be very touching, a good tearjerker, and I feel like I think the stories like this, we get emotional and sad from so many other different stories told in video games, but I mean I think this one, it looks like it's tackling something that's like very real, from a kid's perspective, which I think
Down to
is
earth.
very fantastic, very down to earth and very simple.
That was my favorite tagline in the trailer. We've all been kids. Thanks, fuckface.
So I think it's
Don't assume.
not that it's like we need these games, but I'm glad there is at least there's this game that is an option for someone to play or someone to
Yeah.
experience this story. Which the story, I mean, I think it's something that I very well might play because I just think it's it looks like an emotional story, and I like having that experience with video games.
Taylor will never play this video game.
You want to bet?
That's my prediction.
I've come to bargain.
Oh
Aye.
Crackdown 3.
Crackdown 3.
That's where the game passing started. But yeah, big heavy emphasis on Terry Crews being in this game. So
Big
he got
Terry Crews.
added in a lot. I think it looked a little better last year, but I think we now know what this game is going to be. And it's going to be a solid 6 to 7 out of 10. That people are going to come out and be like, yeah, Crackdown 3, that was kind of disappointing, huh? Yep. And we're going to move along. And then in 5 years, we'll get Crackdown 4 announced, and we'll get really hyped, and they'll be bringing it back. But yeah, I think this game is just going to be kind of like a dud. Not an awful dud, but just, it's going to happen. There's going to be, I don't know. But it being on Games Pass lessens the blow. I think you'll get a lot more eyes on it. Because a lot more people, I think, would be willing to
More
try that
downloads
game
than-
for,
yeah.
$10 than for $80. I would even try that for $10. So, yeah. And looks similar to last year. Looks fine.
Mhm.
Yep.
I didn't. No, you go ahead, Taylor.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, rock.
I honestly thought it actually seemed like it looked a bit better than last year.
It was a
to be
bit better,
honest,
but
so-
not like by much.
Not by much, but it definitely was
By a
improved.
hair.
Yeah, it's like Suicide Squad, Justice League. Justice League is a little better, yeah, but it's Justice League.
I definitely feel like the way they presented it and showcased
Full
it
short
much better.
breaks here.
Much better than last year. I feel like comparison like to last year and this year, this showcase of Crackdown 3 was just a great more. It was an improvement.
Great.
A great more.
See, because
Improvement.
at first you might sound like it was a little bit better. Now you're saying great. I push back.
Improvement. How they showcased it.
How on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your improvement level?
Actually, not the improvement. Where is the game now?
Well, the game
Yeah.
for me was always I would put it like a 6.
Because last week you
Really?
said last week.
6.
Last week,
Okay.
remember he did say they should just scrap this game.
Yeah, that's true.
They should just get rid of
Just
it.
get rid
So
of
now
it.
it's a 6. Where is it now?
I put it like a 7. Like.
I see. I don't think that's a great. I think it's a fine improvement. That's just 1 point.
It's 3 away from 10. That's pretty good.
It's 3 away from 4, which is a fail.
Yeah. So. No, I think.
Wild world.
Honestly, if it's with the Game Pass, I'll definitely give it a go. I'll try it. I mean, how can I not? To be
How can
honest,
you not?
So
They're trying to shove it down your throat. So.
it's very funny. Terry Crews wasn't on stage again to showcase this.
He should have hosted the Microsoft.
He should have.
Yes.
He should have.
Fuck Phil Spencer.
Yeah, he's gonna be hosting the Sony one.
But
My team. My
yeah, no, I
podcast.
think I think it. What was it that you said? Now kind of like piggyback on what you're saying. Were you saying something about the Royale mode for Crackdown, right?
Yeah, I was saying that it would look. I feel like that kind of gameplay that Crackdown has, just like in a massive city, all super arcadey, massive city, you're just jumping around, collecting power-ups and stuff, and then there are other players also there, and they're trying to kill each other. I feel like it could be pretty wacky and a lot of fun.
Pretty wacky.
And a lot more inviting into that sort of genre compared to the current games that are out there.
Hey, they got enough problems just making their own current games. Don't put Royale on them right now, you know.
That's a solution.
Maybe too much of a workload for them.
Crackdown 3 delayed for 2 more years as we put Battle Royale mode.
Yeah, 2 years about Halo Royale, and that's Royale.
Microsoft declares bankruptcy.
Microsoft Royale.
Yeah.
We pit 100 games against each other and we can only fund one.
And it's Gears Pop.
Nice.
Yeah, so Crackdown, I mean, like I've said before, big Crackdown 1 fan, one of the greatest games of all time. Crackdown 3 didn't have a great show last year. This time looked a bit better, but still I'm disappointed. You know, Crackdown 1 had the cel-shaded art style, and so it made it really unique, you know. No, I haven't seen any other game that did that at the time. Borderlands followed suit and had the same sort of art style. But that was really unique, and I think that helps, like, even when I go back and play Crackdown 1, like, it still looks good because it had a really distinct art style, and it worked for that game. So I don't know why they kind of are going for... It's, like, a lot more of a basic look, you know? Like,
it makes it look
more
old.
cartoony. And, yeah, it makes it look more dated than... I mean, I played Crackdown 1, like, last year, and I don't remember even looking that bad. So, I don't know. I really wish they'd stick with that old art style, personally. But in terms of the gameplay... I don't know, I thought one thing they were trying to highlight with Crackdown 3 was a lot of, like, the destructible environment, and I didn't really get a whole lot of that from this trailer. Like, I didn't really...
You blew up a couple
Vehicles?
vehicles, cylinder things, what do you call them?
Cylinders. You blew up some
Silos.
ships.
You blew up some silo-looking things.
Yeah, so I want to see, like, a full 40-story building crumble to the ground.
Wow.
But, you know, this is something they promised, so I'm just kidding. I don't know. This game... It's. I don't think it was ever really going to be a console seller for me, even as much love I have for the first game. Yeah, this is. I guess it's good. It finally has a release date, and maybe they'll stick to it. It'll come out. Games Pass, I think, is a good idea for. I'm not so sure, you know, Division Gears how that'll work out yet, but I think for Crackdown, you know, perfect to put it on the Game Pass. You know, get more people playing it, talking about it. Hopefully it's good.
Same release date as
That's all you can
Anthem
do.
and
Anthem and Days
right?
Gone, right?
Yeah.
And then Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out the week after
Yeah.
that. So it's,
Yeah.
and there was another game too. I thought that was the 22nd. Maybe we'll get to it when we go down. But Metro Exodus is also 22nd.
Right.
So which is kind of the
Loaded
second.
week.
Gotta show two things. One, Captain Spirit is actually the Awesome Adventures Captain Spirit.
Yeah.
The reason I'm showing this out is because it's that. Just Cause, there's another game coming. Square Enix showed a lot at this conference, so I'm wondering if they have a lot more, like they're making that Avengers game, or we're just going to see a lot of the repeat. The reason I'm bringing that up is because at this point we got the Battlefield trailer, and yesterday we were told you're going to get more Battlefield at Xbox. They showed what I'm pretty sure, we got to check, I think it was the same teaser as yesterday, and even if it's not, it was a 30-second teaser, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Phil wanted none of that.
For them to say you're going to see more and more and just be this teaser, what's the point?
Yeah.
This is when Metroid popped up. I've never played them, but I really liked the demo. It looked like lots of fun. I'm not a big first-person guy, so I don't know if I'll get around to it, but it looked... I liked the world that it was playing. It looked kind of spooky and kind of, you know, kind of all over the place. So I was enjoying what I was seeing, so...
Yeah, Metro, when we first saw it last year, like, it looked amazing. Really
great reveal.
Yeah, really, it took me by surprise. And this trailer was also really good, and it has, like, a different art style than the first two games had. I was really excited for Metro last year, but then I actually went back and played the first one. I shouldn't say I played all of it. I played like probably 3 hours of it maybe, and I was really not loving it. I didn't really like the story a whole lot. Characters were kind of boring, and the combat wasn't so good. So not really all that stoked. And I mean, maybe I'll get this game on you know, PC someday, but it wouldn't. I don't think it was really a console seller anyway, but it was, you know, really interesting last year.
This is an exclusive, right? Should be for PlayStation as well.
I don't think it's exclusive.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Really?
Yeah. I'll double check.
For some reason I thought it was, but maybe
I will
actually.
check.
But yeah, no. Once again, like,
Little
really
Jimmy's on the
good for them. Like, they're making really good demos, trailers for this game. Like, really giving it a good spotlight. So, shout outs to them.
I too went back with Dylan to play the first one, and
You've played them before, though.
yes, I have. My first playthrough went through. I think I thought it was absolutely amazing the first time through Metro.
I know the story does get more interesting with like supernatural elements and stuff, and I really didn't get to that point.
Not exclusive.
And the second one is also absolutely amazing. But and I think one of the strongest things that they have going for them is the atmosphere over everything else. And one thing that is going to be interesting with this game is how it looks at least like they're changing it up, where as in the first two, most of the games is in like tight passageways underground in the metros, and then sometimes you go up and it's all like very narrow and claustrophobic, and then every once in a while throughout the game you get to go up onto the surface, and then all of a sudden it's these huge open areas.
This seemed a lot
and it's
more
like
open.
complete and it's like a completely different environment than you're used to.
Yeah.
And it really changed up the atmosphere, whereas in this one it seems like the majority of the game is going to be on the surface in the open, and then there were a couple of shots there of them being under in the metros, I assume, where it's dark. So it'll be interesting what they do with that atmosphere and how much they focus on that aspect of the game.
I wonder, going back, like what the trailers for the other games were like now, because I wonder if this was something that just works better for a trailer, so they show that kind of stuff off. But then when you actually get the game,
it'd be a really weird trailer if it was just like a whole lot of darkness and
exactly
not a lot going on.
It's like, this looks the same the whole way through.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I for one, am excited for this game, despite me trying to play through Metro a second time and not getting through it. It's definitely a dated game. I think it was really great for its time. And then,
well, you also had some issues like
I had
like
a lot of weird stuttering
frame.
issues with the whatever DirectX version it was. It was too old for my computer, so it just didn't want to work. But
when your computer's
yeah, I'm really excited for this one. This is a potential buy for me, maybe day two.
Day two.
Yeah, I would definitely want to see a bit more gameplay and some reviews, but.
Yeah, and from the trailer, can you tell, is this like a continuation of the characters and storylines from the previous games?
Artyom is the main character in the first two. For some reason, I was under the impression that he died at the end of the second one, I think, so it was really weird to hear his name again. But I guess he didn't die. Yeah. It also has been quite a while, so maybe I just am not remembering part of the end.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm excited. Seems cool. I'm excited for that female companion through the entire game. Ooh. That Bioshock Infinite vibe of the game-long escort mission. Great times. Great game, Bioshock Infinite. Really. I mean, you guys should play that game. Also get the DLC and then play through that DLC. Also play Bioshock 1.
Big recommend. Yeah, we're busy with these other games.
Yep. Gotta clear your schedule.
Gotta clear the schedule.
Stop working. Yeah, that's what I got. What's next?
It looked great. I haven't played any of the Metro games, but when they revealed it last year, it looked fantastic. It looked gritty. It looked dark. Everything. So, this replay here, just to remind people, like, we still got it. Get hyped for it. Absolutely. Hopefully on Game Pass day one.
I don't think so.
So we'll see.
Kingdom Hearts 3 got its official announced date and a trailer. It's coming out February 29th, and the trailer showed off Frozen, showed off Hercules, showed off Toy Story. I think this is just kind of Disney's fanboy trailer. Monsters Inc. Yeah, and I'm a Disney fanboy, so this is a game unless it's a horror game, I will be purchasing it at some point. I don't know if it is worth a full purchase just because some people got their hands on it a couple weeks ago and said it was played a little dated, and it looks a little dated at times. Some of the animation at times, it looks very close to like Pixar, like early Pixar, and then other times it looks very old generation. But I will probably play this at some point. Me and Jessica have always talked about this on the cast. Kingdom Hearts, I was a big fan of when I was a kid, but I'm nowhere near as far as her. I think I've played them both probably once or twice, but she's played them over quite a bit. So I hope this release date sticks and it comes out, and I hope it's great, and then I'll actually play it. But I thought it was a good trailer. I guess it's just not something I associate with Xbox. Maybe it's just because for years it was a PlayStation exclusive, and now they've spread their wings. But yeah, I don't know. It was. I think I agree with Briggs where the pacing, it was strange to go from Metro to this. Like, I feel like there should have been more of a block of these type of games. These are these type of games. You know, like I guess they tried to mix up. Sometimes it just kind of felt if I didn't have this guideline, I'd really forget like what was going on. So yep. Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out. No.
Yeah, I don't have much to say really. Just the graphics, like, not so good. You'd think with a game that's been in development for so long that it might be a little more impressive when we actually do get to see it, especially when it's just around the corner. Hopefully, actually going to come out.
Yeah.
Finally, but
This game was supposed to come out on the PS3, just for all those fun kids.
yeah, I mean, I could maybe see myself getting it someday on sale, but I don't know. I think there's just too much variables that it will be bad that I don't want to get it.
Yeah.
It's a big risk.
Yeah, fair. For me, I mean, I have a soft spot for Disney.
Do you?
Frozen in
That's really
particular.
unique.
Yeah. So I was pretty excited about it, but I never played the first two. I probably won't get this game. Trailer, it was interesting enough. There was one reveal that I didn't get at all, which was the person shrouded in the black smoke or something.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like I played
That
these games,
mean-
I
that meant
remember
nothing to
them
me.
with fond
But-
memories, but I was like, I don't know who this is.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that really irked me was there was like frame drops in the
Yeah.
trailer, which was like
In the action
You hate
scenes,
to
it's
see
like
that.
that's not so good. I thought there was teraflops in this console.
yeah. So well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a good enough game, but it did look a little bit dated. It looked
Yeah.
last generation. And it might just be them trying to be consistent with the art style to match the first two games, but
It's possible.
yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is almost certainly not a game I'll get.
Whoa.
Like, I don't want to say any like super hard
You get to play as Elsa,
percentages. Do you?
Yeah,
I don't think so. So yeah, I mean it looked alright enough, but as far as big as the title Kingdom Hearts 3 is, it was kind of lackluster for what I think should have been.
I feel like, the hype is definitely gone for this game. I think that ship sailed a long time ago.
Kingdom went, and then Kingdom went.
yeah.
In the Kingdom, it's coming.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
The
Good
Kingdom
try.
Come joke,
I get it.
I feel like when you start working on a game that was supposed to be for the PS3 and you keep going, you delay it. I mean, this game doesn't feel like they completely threw everything aside and then restarted fresh for the PS4 and Xbox One. I feel like they held on to what they built for the PS3 and have just been building on and on and on and on off of that. And I think it really showed in what they displayed at this conference. And that's not good. I feel like it got to a point where they really honestly should have scrapped it, and they should have, just...
You're so about scrapping
You're all
it.
just giving
I
up.
think they should have scrapped it, and they
5
should
years
have...
of work, boom, gone.
I think they don't have to literally just erase all the 5 years of work, but I think they should have really just taken away many of the things that they kept trying to build off of,
Right.
because-
start from scratch.
and start from scratch in many different areas of this game. But
What's the word? A new engine or something.
a new engine or something like that, yeah. And then, maybe they could have got the game out sooner. Maybe then it would have the hype, and then it could lead towards something, maybe towards Kingdom Hearts 4 in like 15,000 years from now or something.
Not gonna make that one.
1,000 years.
That's a long ways away.
Sea of Thieves DLC, I have nothing to add.
It didn't really do much. They cut away from the titles of the DLC
Yep.
before it even showed the DLC.
For the
Very
for the
frustrating.
viewers at
For
home.
the viewers
Yeah.
at home. The live audience, who knows, maybe they could have read it, but
Possible.
Pain in the ass.
not for us.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a nice little trailer. It surprised me how intense it got. Like, she went into that crystal ball and just got a big loss. And it
Doctor
was
Strange. Like,
very scary. Yeah, like very intense. So I don't know. I think it's cool that they're still pumping out some content from this game because I would like to play this game at some point. I don't know when that will be. Just hasn't had that great of a start. But with a couple DLC packs, we'll see what kind of depth. Because what I've heard is that there's just not a whole lot to do.
Just
Really.
a big empty world.
Yeah, like you can go around and explore with your friends and stuff, but there's just not a whole lot of depth to it. So 2 DLCs confirmed on the summer, one coming in the winter. That was
July and September.
think it was
July, September. Okay, so earlier than that even. Maybe that'll add more, some real solid content to the game. Hopefully, it's some actual depth and not just like aesthetic fluff and stuff like that. So
That's a good one. I like
aesthetic
that.
fluff. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I feel for this game because I think it did look really fun. I like what they've shown previously, even if they had that cheesy thing where they had like streamers playing it and like.
Oh,
just
man.
Very scripted.
Jimmy, what are you doing?
Oh no! I fell off the boat. Yeah.
Fuck you, loser.
Fuck you, loser.
I definitely, when they announced this game and showcased it, I enjoyed it. It's not something that I was ever gonna get around to right away, and obviously I've been busy with my other games and that sort of stuff. But it's something that I do want to try out at some point. I'm not just gonna completely shun it out of existence because like visually, I love the graphic style for this game. I love the teamwork, cooperation, and I enjoyed that video when they were just the scripted lines and everything, and just taking down the other ship and stuff. I thought it was very fitting for the kind of theme of the atmosphere of the game.
Twitch game.
So no, I think it's great that it's getting DLC. I think if you pump out a game that's its own IP, its own title or whatever, and it doesn't take off, it doesn't do well. I mean, I don't want to see them give up on that because that's just it sucks
it's
for
just
the
a
community.
bad game.
I don't know. It's up to people's own interpretation when they play it, to be honest. So if the people that do play it and do enjoy it have to play a game that doesn't get anything because a lot of other people don't enjoy it, I think it sucks for those people that enjoy this new IP and franchise. So
all the time.
just because now that they're getting some DLC for those people that love it, I'm happy for those people. I think that's good, and I think if a game is struggling, this could be something that could kick it an extra life a little bit, or
Kick it an extra life.
yeah, give it some extra spotlight in the Twitch streams or something.
Forza Horizon 4. The game looks beautiful. It's cool to have all these new locations. I'll never touch this game. I don't play racing games.
This is the first time I've seen a racing game in a while that, I was like, man, I really want to play this game. No, I wouldn't buy it, but I'm really hoping that maybe Taylor or someone else who has an Xbox.
Kyle loves.
Maybe Kyle will buy this game and I can try it out because
Game Pass.
it really was reminding me
Yeah,
of,
it is Game Pass.
of the things I like about Dirt, and Dirt is kind of like my favorite of the more traditional racing games. Obviously Mario Kart reigns supreme, but right behind that is Dirt. So this gave me more vibes of that. Between the more off-road setting and destructibility. It looked like obviously, and they even mentioned this is a focus on open world. So we'll see how that is. Yeah, because I don't know how much interest I have in just driving around. I would still prefer to do races. And obviously, there's gonna be a ton of racing in it, but
I get GTA just to drive around cities. That's my
then
drive
you
around.
can get out,
especially
beat people up.
Yeah. Come here, Hooker.
I think this game does have an allure to just driving around with your friends.
Yeah.
I think with the amount of different vehicles they've showcased, the different terrains, how you can literally just drive through the hills of Britain, those grassy.
There's a
meadows
hover
and stuff.
bike.
Yeah, they really stress it being in Britain as well.
Yeah, and
the hover
a lot
boat
of-
and
Just a very beautiful. I think it'd be really cool to just drive around with friends.
They show
but-
demos for summer, fall, spring, Hanukkah,
Yeah, and
Valentine's
Hanukkah.
Day, Halloween.
Yeah, and all the different events and change your world. I think
June 2nd.
it's a lot of really cool things. It gave me a lot of nostalgia of playing I think the old Need for Speed games with my friends, where we literally just drove around and then because it's all on a track. We just drive around and sometimes cops are chasing you.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
Don't look like there's any cops in this game. So
It doesn't look like there's any cops at all.
Yeah.
DLC?
Great.
I think at the
Just sheep.
end
Bunch
of
of
the
sheep in
day,
this trailer.
I'm probably not going
On
to
the
play this
same.
game, but it does look really good, and I have a lot of respect for it.
Graphics.
Yeah.
Crispy.
Wow.
I love Need for Speed was one of my favorite racing games back in the day. Most Wanted was superb. Carbon was great. They're awesome. So I always have a special place in my heart for a game like this, and it just looks really, really enjoyable. I don't think I've ever played a Forza game from what I remember, because I was
who
always,
has?
Who has? Kyle? You play one?
Yeah, I came with the
I'm just
Xbox
joking,
360.
I played it before without owning it.
No. Yeah, I can.
Go down with
But no, I think this game,
Stole from Target.
it looks absolutely beautiful. It's Game Pass. How am I not gonna try?
Oh yeah, why not? That's
So,
a good $10 game.
I'm totally gonna definitely give it a whiff, and we'll see.
This is the portion where they announced they did a big studio block. So they announced the Initiative, which is a new studio. And forgive me, I don't know the names. I'm not a nerd. I don't follow the developers as much as some people. So if you guys want to shout the names, you guys can. They're the guys that made Horizon, that studio, Hellblade, State of Decay, and then Compulsion. I don't know what games Compulsion's made, but that was
We
the
have
studio
a few.
name. Okay, so they announced those were 5 studios they really stressed they're going to be making exclusive games for them. I think that's what I was referring to earlier, where these are people you're going to see when the Xbox whatever, this new console comes out. hopefully this is we have all these exclusive games because of these studios.
Right.
So I think this is future proofing and not anything to do with right now. But it's
Yeah.
like, hey, we're working on this new IP. We just don't got anything right now other than
Yeah.
Gears and Halo, but it's coming.
Yeah.
So smart.
So I really like this for a couple of reasons, and I think it'll prove to be a good thing for Microsoft later down the line. The one weird one is initiative for me, because it's like, yeah, we have a new studio, new developer, and
They did name drop a guy, so I don't know him. So maybe some people are like, oh, he's
yeah,
a good.
possibly. Like I'm not really sure. It just seemed like that's something that's maybe too soon. Like maybe you should announce like, hey, we got this new studio together, and they're working on the next Fable game. I don't know, maybe do something.
Yeah,
like
it would
that.
be nice if they had a
Oh,
game to
Fable,
tease to go along with the studio.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of the
But if it seemed like it was very new. Like you said, they just formed it.
It's
it
new
seemed like they were
nice,
still
yeah.
adding team. I think you said they're still adding team members to it too.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
think
fine.
for the majority of the audience, it's cool to hear.
It's cool to hear, but we
there's
won't know anything for like another
there's,
2 or 3
it
years.
doesn't really
so,
mean anything,
Yeah.
and we don't have anything to like look forward to with them aside from some crazy new IP. And they did say that I think the director of the studio,
Mm-hmm.
but which I imagine he is a pretty big name in the industry. He's probably directed other games before.
A visionary storyteller who's worked on some of the most iconic franchises for over 20 years. Specifically, this was Tomb Raider. So, and then the studios that they did have was Undead Labs, Ninja Theory, and then Compulsion Games and Playground Games.
Yeah.
My voice is going.
So I think for some people, the initiative's gonna, for a small audience, there's like a lot of hype there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the majority of people, it's just kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
The other, the We Happy Few Compulsion is the name.
yeah.
This is a good thing because I think we were all really excited when We Happy Few was first shown.
First E3 we ever did.
Yeah, and it was really cool, real surprise hit, something that looked different, story driven, cool art style. The problem for me was that it went to early access. Like, how do you have a story, like incredibly story focused game in early access? Like, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
You're not going to have one cohesive story. And obviously the reason they do that is because they didn't have the money to fund the full game. So now having the backing of Microsoft, so that company with cool, unique idea going forward, whether We Happy Few is getting its final like big release in August, full game it sounded like,
August
and
10th.
then that company is going to have support for the next game. So I think that's a really, really big announcement. The other thing is Hellblade, obviously a game that wasn't like massive or anything, but I feel like Hellblade might be in the same boat as like, The Witcher 1 and 2 weren't really all that popular, but then Witcher 3 came out and it like just blew up gaming world. Maybe that could be like something that this company, with the more like proper backing, like maybe they could really, pop out like a really
Hellblade was
intensive-
really well received and has a big niche audience of
Yeah.
people. Like, lots of people are trying to argue it for
It does, but I don't think it wasn't like a
No.
mainstream like
No,
AAA
not at
game,
all,
right?
no.
So, maybe with the support of Microsoft and having the proper funding and stuff like that, who knows, maybe they'll kind of rise up to be like another one of the giants in terms of making like AAA games. And so I think that's a really, really good company for Microsoft. Well, it's a really good opportunity, I
Yeah.
should say, because nothing's really confirmed yet in terms of how much this is really going to pay off for Microsoft or for this company. But I think it's like really high potential here.
That's what interests me the most because Hellblade, even though it didn't have a big mainstream, I think the critical success is more important at this point because now, like you said, with the
Positive
backing of
feedback.
Microsoft, you can make a great game and now they can push it forward. Because the other ones, State of Decay, they're keeping that, they made State of Decay 2, they're keeping that in the roundhouse. That game came out, it did well enough and it reviewed well enough, but didn't blow the world
Yeah.
apart. The Horizon team.
Yeah, so maybe them as well with proper resources.
Yeah,
They can-
the Forza team, you know what you're getting there. Compulsion Games, we'll have to see on We Happy Few how that goes. And then same thing, Initiative, that's the one, Hellblade Studio is the one I'm like, that could be something special. That could be your big IP in a couple of years since like these guys made this. Because like Hellblade, it was put on quite a few Game of the Years lists and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was very well received. And those are the people you want to look out for more than,
Yeah.
I know Forza does sell, and that's great, that's what you want as well. But they could do something.
So I really like this segment of the show.
And it would be exclusive for Xbox too, that's another thing. So
I think this is a good way to split up the pacing of the show because obviously this was Microsoft's like big conference where they're just showing games the whole time, which is what we wanted. And so I like that this is what they broke it up with. It wasn't something that really bogged down the conference. It was something that I thought was really interesting and really good for cultivating the gaming future in terms of making new and interesting games and having the proper support for it.
Yeah, I think that you guys brought up a lot of good points. I think it's definitely like a really cool thing going into the future, what they can do with these studios, and it's I think it's cool that to show that they're willing to acquire these smaller studios. I mean, not all of them are smaller studios, but they're willing to acquire these studios and provide the resources for them to be to go further with what they want to do.
They're making moves.
Yeah, exactly, and it's really cool, and I think that's going to be really cool for people who are sort of indie studio developers. Maybe it's just like a very small team who really are looking to make this game, but they don't have the resources that to show that Microsoft is providing these opportunities to these smaller devs, and I think going forward, it could really help the indie industry.
I think that, like you said, this is a great point in the conference then to break up into half and just kind of showcase a new kind of progression that they're doing as a company, and I think it's fantastic. And something like for me personally, like as you mentioned, like this is something that'll probably be forgotten about this conference, but for me as an Xbox fan, I'm going to be able to look at Xbox's them making, like, this is the first step towards progressing to so many new things as a company, and in the direction that me as an Xbox fan and a gamer has wanted for a long time now. This is them making that first step, so it'll be memorable for me in that sense, and I'm very happy that they are really showcasing how much to the future they are looking. And they did drop obviously the new console kind of teaser, but I mean, especially game wise, I mean, this is huge, and this is, I feel like it opens up so many doors for them and for us as gamers as well.
I'll link this enough because you brought up the new console thing, so they teased it at the end. Do you think next year we get a bit more of a tease, or is it the full rollout of you're getting your new Xbox console?
Not a rollout.
You don't think rollout?
No. I think we get another year probably of games, and then I think we probably get a tease.
Studios.
Studios.
I'm gonna go with, I think you're gonna get the full rollout. I really do. I think Halo Infinite might be another reason why you didn't see much of it, because it'll be on that. And I
don't know.
I just feel like I feel like it's something that if you tease it this year a little bit and then you come back next year and tease it again, it might be like, why did you even say anything this year? So there's a part of me that thinks because of these new studios and with them teasing it, and these studios could be working on some new games, there's a chance that...
Yeah, but these studios just formed together now.
But we don't know when these deals were inked. State of Decay 2 came out months ago. They could be working on something new now, things like that. Like, we don't know how long these deals have been in place, right?
I guess, but if they roll out a new console next year, then that means that just doesn't give them enough time.
For what, though?
For them just forming and still adding all these new companies.
But that's what I mean, like the initiative, we knew nothing about it, right? What happened if they were signed 6 months ago and it's like, well, we're going to talk about that E3, you know? Like, we don't know the goings on behind what's happening in Xbox.
That's true. That's why, though, I just feel like, we'll get more of that attention next year with games that are in the works and teased, and then that's when they'll show, and these are going to be teased on our new console or whatever, or new something we're working on.
No, see, that's
later.
That's where I'll have to disagree. I don't think they come out next year and start teasing games for a new console and then say the new console is next year.
No, they would come out on present day consoles, but I feel like it's something they would also, again, tease and foreshadow that something is coming next E3 or something like that.
See, I don't know if all these studios are going to be making games for the current console. I think they're looking forward to, we got to make great games for the Xbox.
But Xbox is really taking in stride that we're not leaving consoles behind, in the sense like original Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox One X, PC, and even mobile now too, all get to share that console experience.
True.
So I feel like they're still going to incorporate it somehow. I just feel at the same time that they... What was I going to say? If they roll out the Xbox One, or the new Xbox, then... New Xbox. If they roll out the new Xbox, then I feel like they're going to have it ready to go right after that. And I don't feel like they're going to do that next year, when each year they're focusing clearly on certain things. Last year, Xbox One X. Before that, it was their hardware, like groups. It was Game Pass, all that stuff. And before that, I can't remember. But I feel like next year it's going to be... And again, it'll be heavily based on what they see as a review and feedback from this conference. I feel like, they're going to look and see how the year progresses from this conference, what people are asking, talking about. And if it's still heavily based on the games, I feel like that's something they're going to tackle.
I guess I just don't... It's hard for me to agree when they tease it at the end of this conference. Because to me, why, like I said, what's the idea then of teasing it this year and then teasing it again and then it not coming out until 2020? That's the part that's hard for me to be like, why would you tease it to tease it again? And then, especially right now, there's a bunch of rumors that PS5 is also going to be happening next year. They always come out the same year. So to me, all the signs are pointing to next year is going to be the year that you got a PS5 and the new Xbox. I don't get why they tease it and then not do anything next year and then be like, oh, but we're still working on that new Xbox, I think to me, with him saying that and him talking about these new studios, that's the whole, like, get ready, these games are winding down. Like, Gears of War 5 could be your really, like, last, like, okay, they could do a Halo Infinite on both consoles, but your last, like, just Xbox One X exclusive or whatnot. So, we'll have to see. That's a whole other conversation, because I still think Halo Infinite, like, I know they want to do this whole, like, oh, you know, you can play all these games on every console, but I don't think it sells console. Like, I don't. Like, I think if they say, oh, Halo Infinite's coming out, but you can play it on the Xbox One X or the new Xbox, I don't know, it slows down sales, because that's what's pushing PlayStation right now. You know, is those games where you can only play it here, right? And there's less of that, even more now for this conference on Xbox with Game Pass. So, what do you guys think as far as the timing of that tease and when you could possibly see the new Xbox?
I don't even know what you're talking about with the tease. Like, what
at the end, he said we're working on the next Xbox console. That's how he ended the conference.
But they're always working on the next Xbox console.
So it could be just an assumption. Everyone knows that they're working on something else.
I don't know. It is a weird thing to say, I guess, but it was such a little cliff note. I didn't even catch it. So I don't know. I don't think it's telling that like next year necessarily they'll do it. Timing wise, I mean, when did the Xbox One first come out? It must
I think
have been
they're both
4 years
about
ago?
5 years now.
So I mean, it's due time. So I could see it. Yeah, I could see it.
In comparison to the Xbox One X, then as well.
Well, that was just like an add-on console, right? It wasn't a new console. It's just you want a prettier console.
That was just like 4K, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
Teraflops.
literally the most powerful, as they say.
Oh,
gamer console
God.
in the world.
Right, but I feel like the focus is 4K. I feel like that was kind of
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
It was, you know, rendering your games at the highest
Just
possible
because they got to keep up with
quality
the
and just
with the
using
TVs,
new,
and
like,
if their new Xbox isn't ready yet, obviously the new Xbox is going to be 4K compatible from default. But obviously, you want to capitalize on the 4K, people with 4K TVs right now. So that's probably why they pumped up the Xbox One X. And that's probably why it has an awful name as well, because they're just like, oh shit, we need this thing out right now. But no, I'm just joking. But I don't know. I think next year, yeah, it's possible. I think it is quite possible. Xbox One X. When did it hit shelves? It hit shelves in November or something.
Last year. Last November.
Last
Right?
November.
Yeah.
Okay. I was a wild guess, but I guess that was pretty accurate there. So I could see that. I think that's pretty good timing, actually. That's like a year and a half after the Xbox One X, which is like kind of the last edition of Xbox One, the last like super edition for this console. And I think to a point, I think you're onto something, that just because the new console's coming out doesn't mean that they're gonna ditch this one completely. Obviously, console sales, like, not quite as many as PlayStation 4, but still there's a lot of people who have this console and want these games. So I think they, obviously if there's a new console, that's always going to be the highlight of the conference, but obviously, Xbox, after the last couple of years, they've realized that they need to show more games at these things. So I think next year they could have a new console, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to show a bunch of new awesome games as well, especially if they are acquiring new studios. I want to see them do that next year as well, talking about the new studios that they've acquired. I want to see that every year. I think that'd be really good for just the industry in general. So I think, the more we've talked about it a little bit, I think possible next year, new console. Good timing. Could work out.
Yeah.
Pretty
Pretty on board with what you said. I think that they tease it in a very nonchalant way. Like, I honestly didn't catch it
Yeah.
when whatever it was going on.
It's very
Bill Spencer's
cliff
dropped
note.
it.
Yeah. So I think
It wasn't really a cliffhanger, It's
Yeah.
more of a
I really think that it's quite possible, because it has been quite a while since the Xbox One originally came out, and it'll be about 2 years since the last one came out, or the One X and One S. So I don't think that's a huge deal.
Right.
It's been long enough that the people who just got the One X or One S aren't going to be like super upset about it, and so yeah, I think it's great. And then obviously they have studios that could be working on games for the new Xbox as well.
Yeah.
Already.
You got it.
You guys pretty much hit on the nail on the head there. So not a whole lot to add to it. I'm not gonna get an Xbox, so.
Whoa.
We Happy
It
Few
is, but-
trailer, and then they did a release date of August 10th. I didn't love the trailer because when we saw this game years ago, I really liked the trailer. And at that point, it was just Xbox exclusive. They said that now eventually it's going to come to PS4, so if I'm really interested, I'll play it. But that was much more creepy, and I just got these really unsettling vibes. Where in this trailer, it has some of that, but also has like some kind of wacky humor moments.
It does,
And
yeah.
I'm not a fan of that because that's
A little
just
zany.
yeah, and like I'm sure it could be fun, but just the original trailer, it's like that's what I really wanted. Like that, it almost gave me like a Purge sort of vibe, and this is kind of like tongue in cheek. So unless people maybe I see these guys playing, I want to be interested in it. It's not on my radar, but August 10th coming out.
Yeah, I have to agree. Their first trailer had a lot more of a hook to it. This one just has me a little bit confused as to what you actually do gameplay wise. I know this game is out on Steam Early Access and you can play it, but I haven't watched any streams because I figured it's probably a game that you don't really want spoiled. You know, you want to experience it yourself.
Yep.
And I do want to play it someday still because of that first trailer. So this one, while it didn't really reignite my interest in the game, I don't think it took away my interest either, so I still had some lingering interest, and I don't know, I'll play it eventually. I'm curious how much it'll be at release,
Oh yeah, that's good.
because the early access was still like $40, I think.
I'll see if I
If
can
I
pre-order
remember.
It was
right
like
now.
20 something.
Was it 20?
It was 20
Okay.
something.
Well, usually what they do with early access is the price will always go up for the final release, but if you bought the early access, you have access to the full game without having to pay the extra. So maybe what I'll do is try to time it perfectly. I'll buy the game early access a little bit before it actually comes for release. I'm not sure what their whole plan is, if they'll bring it off Steam for a bit until.
Yeah.
Not sure what the full story is, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting game, unique, and yeah, it's too bad that I think that the original tone that it had of being a little more serious and creepy was more favorable for me. But I still think it looks good enough. But I'm just a little confused as to what actually kind of gameplay it is, because I thought it was
It's like 50,
story
$55 Canadian.
for the
Wow.
Is that true?
Right
For
now.
Xbox?
Oh,
For pre-order?
Xbox.
Yeah, for the Xbox, yeah.
$55.
Yeah, no, 60,
Strange.
$67.97 for the deluxe, 55 because they're doing
Oh, yes.
E3 sales and whatnot. So
Those
right now
are
you get it for
the-
54.
Well, I was gonna say is that like
Those are the
is that $40
console.
US?
console. Yeah, no, it's Canadian.
I'm curious as to what it is on Steam, because last I checked, I'm pretty sure it's between $20 and $30.
Take a look
That
on
was
Steam.
months and months ago.
Early
so.
access. Right?
Yeah, the early access one.
No, yeah, $55 is a weird price, but it's also Canadian dollars, so we always have some strange prices thrown in there to match the US dollar.
Yeah, for me actually, this trailer was pretty disappointing. I really liked that it looked like it was going to be kind of a smaller scale, more personal story.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot of potential.
Mhm.
And it looks like they're kind of
They build more of the world.
moving back from that, and it looked. It's hard to say what the game's gonna even be like.
Yeah.
They didn't reveal much of that
Mostly
at all.
cinematic, all cinematic, really.
So it'll be interesting what they do, but this trailer's kind of taken a bit of hype out of it for me. So I'm honestly less likely to get the game now at this point.
Fair enough.
We'll see how it goes. It's still definitely on the radar for me, and we'll see what the pricing is like. But I think if it's above $30, I probably will wait till it's on sale or
Cheaper.
something on Steam to give it a try. So
Mhm.
we'll see how it goes, but not as much interest as when it was first revealed for sure.
No, when it was first revealed, it looked really, really interesting, really dark, mysterious, and it definitely caught my attention. I don't know. I'm still intrigued as to the story and like what's going on in this world, because it just seems so wacky and different from anything else that I've really like touched on or played. So I'm very intrigued by it still. I don't know if I'd want to pay full price for it. I'd probably wait a while and just Game Pass, please. So yeah, but I think it looks great. I think it has something going for it.
PUBG add-ons coming winter 2018.
There's some pretty cool stuff there. A couple the new things that I caught is they kind of teased at a summer release in the recent patch notes on PC, but it looks like that's what when the new map Sandhawk is going to be coming out for console too. Really cool tease at a winter map, because there's been a lot of rumors and a lot of anticipation for something like that. A lot of people have been talking about like it would be really cool if they did this for an idea, and it was teased months and months ago that it was an idea that the devs had. So it's really cool to have this kind of confirmed, and for winter too, a good start release date, at least for console. I imagine it would, for the PC release, would be fairly similar timings. And then a lot of the gameplay stuff, they showed Riot Shields, which is a new addition, which it'll be really, really interesting to see how that plays into the meta. For people who do play, it'll be really cool because a lot of times that the final zone that the circle's in, there isn't any buildings or any cover at all, so it'll definitely add a new kind of loop to the gameplay where it'll make those environments a little bit more viable and not as frustrating, because sometimes it's whoever has the better positioning depending on where the final kind of circles go. If you're lucky and it's on you, you don't have to move through the open ground, then you're almost like you have a significantly higher chance of winning the game, whereas this will give players much more movement options when it comes to moving through areas with no cover. So it'll be really interesting to see how that goes and when they implement it, because for that specifically, they did show it on the tropical map there, so it could be coming pretty quickly. So that's really cool. There's a lot of it's hard to say. I don't think there's anything else that was really new. It's just kind of, hey, PUBG's still a thing and we're still updating it.
None of those vehicles were new, really?
No new vehicles there, unless no new vehicles. At least that I noticed. It looked like there were some sort of rocket launchers, things that were actually shooting missiles and not just a lot of the explosions were just for show and whatnot, obviously to make the trailers seem cooler. But it did look like there were like rockets being launched, or it might have just been them using the flare gun, which is something that they have in custom games right now but haven't been added into the actual game. So it'll be interesting to see how much new content and if they release like a new patch notes or a new devlog or something coming up after this. But nothing too crazy, but a really cool trailer, and I think it was pretty exciting for at least to try and get people into the game still alive. I think the base thing was just showing that they're still adding content to keep people interested in the game, and I think that's all they really need to do.
And all these things are free add-ons.
Yeah, exactly. So because the game's already being in the spotlight so much, it's not like they need to reveal the game or anything.
Right.
It's really just showing that, hey, like, still new content's coming, we've got plans for the future, we're still working on the game, and I think that's all they really need to do. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
I play Fortnite.
Okay.
Division 2 had I guess kind of like a teaser or cinematic trailer, and then some gameplay coming March 15th. Looks good. I think it looks more like more Division, if you like that. I guess my whole thing is I don't know why we're getting this here instead of Ubi.
I think Ubisoft has, they didn't show any Assassin's Creed, so obviously we're getting that. Ubisoft, I feel like they probably have a little bit extra stuff that they're probably going to unveil on their own.
I guess. I think this is, yeah.
If depending on how the Ubisoft one goes, if they have a lot of brand new stuff they're unveiling, then I'll be okay with them bumping this to Xbox, time-wise and stuff, so.
Just dance.
Yeah, I just don't think I need the demo. This is, for me, shows that Xbox, like, they talk about doing a lot of games, but it's just they don't have games of their own to show, so they show Ubisoft games, this, that, and yeah, good demo, but I won't be jumping into the Division, so.
Yeah, I thought it was a good enough trailer. Well, the opening cinematic. Opening cinematic was quite cool, quite intriguing. The cheesy like voice comm, like this is what people would be like. Those things are always hard to implement because it never feels like realistic. It's not really what the game is gonna be like. But it was a nice trailer. I don't have much more to say. I'm not really too interested in games like that at this point in my gaming career, so it'll be a skip for me. But curious to hear what Taylor thinks about it when he buys it, which he probably will,
Yeah, a lot.
I thought it was actually really cool. Great trailer. And I thought the gameplay was done actually really well. They did a good job of showcasing kind of the environments and how much detail is being added at the start when they're walking through the buildings and the forest there. So that was a really great aspect of it. And then as it kind of geared more into the gameplay aspect, they did a great job of showcasing. I'm not sure how many new additions there were to gameplay, but from the first, but they did a great job of showcasing what gameplay would be like, all these cool options. I imagine that little seeker mine that they showed is new, and they showed a bunch of like really cool things that you're going to be able to do in the game with keeping the gameplay still fairly smooth as it moves along the course of the little demo there.
Yeah.
And I think as far as the voice acting went for it, it was much less heavy-handed than there has been in the past, and it didn't really take away from it for me at least. I thought it was pretty well done because you can only really do it so well. I mean, obviously you're not gonna have people like yelling at each other, and you're not gonna. It's not gonna be very realistic in any degree because no one actually talks like super calm and serious like that.
Yeah.
In the games, and obviously, as I mentioned,
Thanks for the heel,
we're
Mike.
watching people like when you're on voice comms with your friends. There's always one or two guys with shitty mics, and it doesn't sound that good. But
I'm that guy.
I think they actually, as far as what they were saying and whatnot, it actually seemed kind of fitting. Like they were saying things you would say, but just in a much more professional way.
Yep.
Very high quality.
It just didn't feel forced and kind of over the top, which I thought was good. But overall, the game like looks really nice. The gameplay itself was demoed at least very well, and I thought it was actually a really good trailer. I mean, again, I'm not a huge MMO guy, so I probably won't be playing this game, but I thought at least from what they showed here, they did a really good job with it.
I love the Division. I think the first one was fantastic. As I said during the watch along, I made a lot of good friends on there, and just it really brought around the Xbox community, at least for me. I think it was fantastic. So I am very much excited to try this out and get my hands on it day one. There were so many returning features that were in the first game, and a lot of new features too, and just the amount of detail that they put in, like with the Division 1, it was just incredible. When you're walking down the street, there was so much attention to everything as you're walking through, and buildings and everything, and for a very dark game, it was very, very beautiful, and the amount of detail and attention that they have given it. So again, it just looks just like again, they've done exactly that with Division 2. I am more than excited for this. The story alone is fantastic, and I am very excited to see exactly where it's going to go this time around. Yeah, so easily it was huge boost in this conference for me.
Shadow of Tomb Raider being made by or in association with Crystal Dynamics, so kind of.
Did it say who else was making it?
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'll try and take a look after I throw it at you guys. Yeah, I'm big fan of the first reboot. I haven't got around the second one. I want to play it. This one, it looked fun, but for me, graphically, it looked a little lower. I'm telling you, point out the landscapes look good, and they do. There just was something off, and there did look a little wiggy at times. Not because of the movie history, but just. It looked older than I even still think the first reboot, to be honest, because the first reboot got like rehanced when they put it on Xbox One and PS4, and they redid it and they made it look nice. Like something about it just looked old and kind of almost like what we were talking about Halo. Like it looked like a little off. It looks like not as prime as the other one. So yeah,
well, I think the standards of like character models and like facial expressions and all that it's gone up so much in the last couple of years. So when you see this and it's kind of just feels a little more old school. Kind of wonder why that is.
Yeah.
As far as I mean, it was a good enough trailer because we'd only had the one trailer that didn't show any gameplay, right?
Yeah, wow.
It's cool to see some more, a little bit more of the gameplay, but a lot of it was still cinematic stuff that they revealed. It kind of shoved down your throat a bit more blatantly that it's going to be much more morally ambiguous game with Laura obviously going down a potentially dark path. And a lot of the visuals were kind of cool, how it showed like different like split things, that like the visuals were kind of split in half and showed different images in each one to kind of show like the dualities of her decisions that she's making.
Eidos Montreal.
So,
Eidos Montreal, developer. They did Thief, the Deus Ex games. So yeah, they also worked on the other Tomb Raiders. So I guess maybe there's just some few people missing from Crystal that worked on it. So
they showed a little bit more of the environment that you'll be playing in.
I love the animals, big throwback to old school Tomb Raider. I always love shooting tigers and whatnot with double guns. I can't remember which game it is, but there's one game where you just end up in a cave and this tiger just comes out of nowhere out of the water and it's fucking sick and gave me nightmares. Yeah, love when you get to fight the animals.
I'm really, but yeah, I do have to agree with the character models. They were looking pretty poor. The hair looked to me like, I remember in the very first game, like the hair, it was kind of that, it wasn't at, like, when you went to the very highest setting, it was like, it completely kind of redid the hair into that more strandy, it's kind of like more, I don't want to say experimental, but it was fairly newer, and it didn't look great compared to, like, because when you went to the highest area, it went to like this weird hair physics thing that was fairly new at the time, and so it looked weird compared to what you would normally get and what we were kind of used to. And it didn't look super great either. And it looked like that, but it didn't look any better than in the first game.
Right.
And the models themselves just seemed kind of on par with the first game, maybe, even though I'm pretty sure the second game had better models. So I think that might just be, I don't know, I think it might just have something to do with what they showed. I feel like the finished game is going to be more polished when it's on release, I hope at least, because having kind of shitty models in like a really beautiful environment, not shitty models, but like when you have
It's
such
not consistent.
insanely beautiful environments and the models are a step down from that, it really affects your immersion in the game. So hopefully on release all is well. This is one of those games that I absolutely love the first two, and as long as things are looking good on day one, I'll probably get it right away.
Nice. This one I have to say was I don't know, I don't want to say disappointing for me, but it didn't get me excited at all for the game. Like, it was a very basic trailer.
Underwhelming.
Underwhelming. The graphics were, yeah, exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I honestly like feel very, you know, it didn't really get me passionate about the game. It just kind of happened, passed me by, and I mean, I never got around to the second one. I really enjoyed the first one, but I don't know. I'd probably wait. And I'll probably play the second one before I play this one if I ever do. It wouldn't be for a while yet.
Yeah.
Certainly not with this. This trailer just doesn't really look like it's like anything new. You know, it's just kind of more of the same. And if I want more of the same, I don't know, go back and play the first one. So
yeah, I
That's how I
think
feel.
this way, like obviously I'm really excited for the game, but that's more just from the title and my experience with the past. This trailer didn't really do anything for me either, so
that's fair.
it wasn't that great.
By the numbers.
I'm happy for all the Tomb Raider fans out there getting this game. You know, at this point, if I want to feel the Tomb Raider experience, I'll just watch the movie right now.
I feel like that's an awful mindset, and you're making a big mistake.
I don't
You're
know.
better off-
Angelina Jolie.
You're
is
better off
very,
with
very good.
no Tomb Raider experience.
I don't remember what this game was. Black Desert.
There's a big online PC MMO called Black Desert Online, so I imagine this is the
Traditional
console version of that.
MMORPG.
Okay. I got nothing on it.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else.
It was a fucking beautiful trailer, but I'm not into MMOs. Played a few in my life, but nothing that really stuck. So yeah, skipping it out.
Devil May Cry 5 was revealed. We talked about this. I'm trying to look to confirm that's on both consoles. I think it's gonna
should
be,
be,
but
yeah.
it should be. But yeah, I've never played. I think I've played these games here and there. Like here, try this out, blah blah blah. Never been into it, but the trailer looked really cool. Some of the demons and devils and whatnot he was fighting looked really cool. There was some cheesy stuff, but like I think it kind of goes for that at times. Little sidekick
That's
there.
kind of
So
part of the game. There.
yeah, so in the crowd, that's one of those games that the crowd got pretty excited for. So if you're a fan of that, it looked like it was a good trailer. I don't think I'll be jumping into it, but it's it looks like it's a step in the right direction for people that like that franchise. But then again, who knows? There may be some story beats where you're like, this is the worst thing that's happening to the Devil May Cry franchise. But for me, won't play it, but it looked cool.
Yeah, this is they brought the one developer up there, and it was good. It didn't drag on. Like it was well paced for that segment of it. It was a cool reveal. Yeah, I've never played these games before. Heard good things, but I feel like it's never been a series where like these are the games that are gonna be in someone's like top 10 favorite games of all time. You know,
Yeah.
like they're good games. I like them enough. Have some good memories, but
Both consoles, by the way.
nothing all that outstanding. Yeah, it was a nice trailer. It really showed off a lot of stuff between like the world and its kind of tone and the combat. So I think it was a really good reveal in terms of just giving many aspects of the game, and I think it was a really nice thing for Microsoft to have in their comments. I think it's a nice, good world premiere for them to have. So it was cool, but I don't know, probably not a game I'll be buying.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool reveal. Really well done. The game itself looked visually like really nice. This at least the cinematic stuff. I don't want to judge the gameplay how that's going to look too much, but it looked really good from the trailer itself and some of the gameplay. It looked like there would be some really cool kind of fluid cinematic parts that merge with the gameplay. How it's like it seemed like it was like a cutscene in the truck, and then the truck flips and he jumps out, and then you have a little gameplay moment, and then you hop back into the truck, and would not. So it looks like it's just like a really fun, fast-paced action shooter / melee kind of game. And it looked like
Combos.
big boss fights. That
Crisis.
one boss fight that they
Big
showed
crisis.
was the demon who eats the car. It looked like that boss fight took place in 3 different environments.
Yeah, it was fucking
So-
sick. He literally put the car in his belly and then just like shot it out.
It was like a molten ball of flame and metal.
Nuts. Never seen anything like that
Yeah.
before.
See, this is a game that I wouldn't buy,
Groundbreaking.
but if it was like a PS Plus game, I'd download it and give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Because the trailer looked that cool. So.
Yeah, it's true.
It looked like a game that'd be really fun to play through, and I don't know if it has any
Lore.
tie-ins with the other Devil May Cry games.
Yeah.
It just looks like some dude fighting demons and doing
Fighting
fun
demons
stuff.
and fun stuff.
So it looks like a really fun game. It was a great reveal, and I don't know if it's a game that I'd play again, but it looks like something that maybe down the line, if it holds up 2 or 3 years from now and it's on sale, I'd definitely pick it up and just, because hack slash games are really fun to just kind of
Oh, yeah.
hop in a couple years down the line and just mindlessly blow through them. So I think it has the makings of a good game.
I've never played any of the Devil May Cry games, but this reveal,
Great impact we got on the.
Oh, yeah.
Cry.
I think the reveal was
You
fantastic.
don't play so many games.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
so many games. The way they revealed it was great. I think it was awesome. It looked exciting. Got some hype going on for it. I love that the 2 guys came out on the stage and talked about it a little bit. I think it was
The
awesome
boys.
to get. They were excited to get the fans excited about it. That's fantastic.
We're excited. We're excited.
I don't know. I could feel a lot of passion put into this game. I can't remember how long he said since the last one came out.
I will find out.
But
400 years.
It hasn't been too long since 4, because I feel like 4 was at an E3 fairly recently.
2008. So 10 years.
Okay.
Wow.
It's not too far off.
Amnesia.
So not too recent.
No, that's pretty good. Then I
It's
think
around the corner.
that's awesome that they got. And it's been a decade, and they got a new one to their franchise or series.
I imagine
so.
there could have been like a collection or a remaster. That
'Cause I
came
feel like
out
Devil May
probably.
Cry 3 came out like 10
Yeah,
years
it was
ago.
good.
And Devil May Cry 4 was a little bit more recent.
It's a
But
prequel thing.
I will take a look into it.
wow, it was getting cooler than I thought. So that's actually really
Oh yeah,
good
they
news
picked off
then
for a
that,
cool minute.
that this is
Yeah, it's a
like
big
the new
reveal.
installment.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a nice
really
reveal.
big reveal.
I think that's
A
why
lot
the
bigger
crowd
than-
was pretty
a
excited.
lot bigger than I thought initially, but yeah, no.
And I know the
Big reveal,
characters.
so.
I'm looking at all these other photos. He has like he had longer hair back
They
then.
all have
I like
white
his-
hair and like the red
Yeah.
jacket kind
But I
of
like the
style.
haircut he had rocking in this one. It was cut and all that. I don't know,
Yeah.
something about it.
Mhm.
Here's your
Clean.
timeline of releases. So Devil May Cry 4 came out in 2008. They did a HD collection in 2012.
That might have been when I
A
was thinking.
It's still
definitive
6 years ago.
I know.
a definitive edition of the first game in 2015, along
That
with a special
could've been that
edition of 4 in 2015. So
That's
they've
what that
been
was
just
called.
dropping HD collections left, right, and center.
Boom,
So-
HD.
Yeah, and apparently we're
4K.
getting one this year, or one already came out. It says 2018. So there you
Right
go.
on.
So
That's awesome.
they've been plugging away,
Wild.
but this is a new entry into the series.
Wild.
It's the Force Awakens of the series.
Where's my water?
That's
I
gone.
almost knocked it over.
A game that I didn't think I'd be excited
I didn't
for.
think I thought.
But you know what? I love crossovers. I love putting shit together that shouldn't be together, but it is together. Jump Force.
Combining 2 words.
Yeah, what is the company? Bandai.
Bandai Namco, I think.
Bandai Namco.
Capcom.
I don't know many of these properties. I'm not really into them. I know of them, but they're not my fandom. But something about it just made it look really cool. What I've seen more, it looks like it's gonna be a fighting game, so I'd like to try it out. Maybe I was hoping it'd be a Marvel Ultimate Alliance sort of deal where you could be a team of 4 and just, like, I love shit like that. So, but it looked cool, and you know, I know what Death Note is, so I got that at the end, and I was proud of myself.
I did
There
not.
you go.
So.
Yeah, and I hope you can play as that character because that'd be fucking
Yeah.
sick throwing apples at people. You know? That's your finisher maneuver, and
That's
who
the
knows?
insight.
Yeah, we'll see because those Dragon Ball fighting games have a fan base and a following. So
They do. The newest one just had one of those, you know, those Smash Thumbs I'm always talking about. They just had one for
Dragon
the
Ball Fighter Z.
for the most
Or Z
recent
Fighters.
Dragon
yeah.
Ball game.
So if it can get that sort of praise as far as the gameplay, it looks cool. And
Yeah.
I wish I got to see a bit more of that one. I was
And
hoping
those
to-
old school Dragon Ball Fighter games, like, because they had like the more 3D element where you're like
Yeah,
moving around
yeah,
more,
yeah.
and then you can fly up and down. They were
this
always,
has this.
those were a lot of fun back in the
Yeah.
day, and I remember playing like this Naruto game back in the day too. That was a lot of fun. So this is
Yeah.
like a kind of a culmination of those sorts of things. What was the third
Marvel
big?
Nemesis.
What was the
It
third
was,
big IP?
One Piece, Naruto,
Well,
and
One Piece, yeah.
Dragon Ball, I believe,
Right.
and then obviously Death Note at the end there. But I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm curious if I feel like next trailer will have another reveal, maybe a
Yeah.
couple more. And I'm really curious to see what kind of
Mario.
culmination they have here because this is already a pretty interesting
Yeah,
amalgamation.
for me, being with my shoes already in the shoes of the feet of an anime fan.
Big
Uh,
throwback.
It was really cool to see all these mainstream characters. First of all, it started with the very mainstream characters, and then it kind of finishes with that tease of Death Note, which shows that it'll go kind of past what those mainstream kind of fighting game characters are going to have.
Yeah, you wouldn't
And
pick that franchise to be in a fighting game, you know?
Yeah,
It's not,
so it's kind of curious, and so it's got me excited for what other franchises they're going to reveal to be in this game, because it seems like there isn't really any restriction on what they're planning to add in, so there's just a huge assortment of characters that they could throw in here, which would be absolutely amazing to see. So I'm excited for it. I mean, as you said earlier during the conference, the name.
Jump. Yeah.
Who knows?
Does there any maybe it'll come out there's some meaning, but Jump Force it just seems super basic. Like it's just
Not a great name.
out of especially when you look at these
It
properties.
might have been translation sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Just out of these properties that are even in their there's characters I don't even know. They're jumping up. There's fucking fire, tires coming out of their face, everything like that. Very creative properties, and they're just Jump Force is the town. All these minds together, I couldn't think of one thing that you call this game better than Jump Force.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's hard when you have multiple things. Just call it super.
It might have some
Super
relation
anime
to
bros.
Shonen Jump, which is I don't actually know a whole lot about it, but I just know it's a thing that has to do with anime. So.
If you think about it, Super Smash Bros is a pretty stupid name as well, but we've just come to accept it because it's been around forever.
But it's the classic simple stupid. That's all it takes. It's you know what it is. You see that Jump Force. If you you know on paper what Super Smash Bros is. It's something to do with Mario. Maybe fighting Jump
because
Force.
the Bros has a relation to Mario.
What the fuck is Jump Force?
that could be anything.
I'm sure it'll make sense maybe a little bit more a little bit later down the road, but I'm really excited. I think this was a great trailer, but I'm more excited for the next trailer they reveal and all the different characters they have, because I think that is going to be a big selling point, because we have these Naruto fighting games, we have these Dragon Ball fighting games. The big thing is going to be what are all the characters that you can play as after that.
Oh yeah, it'll be
So-
just like Smash, and then you get those reveals of who's gonna be in this.
And what exactly is this just a traditional fighting game, or is it
They
more
did-
open
well,
world?
yeah,
That's
it'll
the
be
thing.
in-
No, it looks like
Awesome.
because when I was
It
scrolling
look-
through some stuff on IGN, they have some gameplay about it right now, and it looks like what you guys are describing
Yeah.
Naruto with the 3D fighting and around.
Yeah, that's
They
what
had
it
this
looks like.
thing. I'm not sure. With you guys know this, so there's the two characters in their health bar, but then below them they also had two characters, and it almost looked like you could switch.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
just there's sometimes you
It's
can
pretty classic.
you have
Okay.
for
And it
Dragon
was Dragon Ball
Ball Z
games,
Fighter.
Okay,
You
so
pick 3 characters for your team, and then you can kind of swap them out, tag teams sort of.
it sounds like it's gonna be pretty similar, just with Avenger style crossover. It's gonna be those game dynamics, but you can
No, really, really cool. That's probably the most surprising reveal for me.
Yeah.
From this
Yeah.
show, and it's a really nice thing. And it, the graphics really fucking
look
good.
really
So
cool, yeah.
you obviously this game wouldn't have nearly. I'm sure there's already a big hype train online for this.
Oh yeah.
But that wouldn't be nearly the case if the game didn't just have amazing graphics. So obviously they have that down pat as well. So yeah, this one's big on the radar. I don't know if this is a game that I'll purchase because I really don't exactly know what it is yet. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens with this, and maybe it'll open the doorway to other interesting crossovers that we could get in the
Let's just
future.
cross over everything,
Please.
Just, come on.
Let's make Super Smash Bros with 300 characters.
Mortal Kombat
from
versus
all over. Every company can
Yeah.
just make their own character, put it in,
You know,
and we'll
Dylan,
get hire 1,000 people to balance it. You're good to go.
you just buy the rights for all of that, and you can do it.
Disney.
Master Chief doesn't need another Halo game.
Disney
You know what
just
he
means
needs?
buy Nintendo, and we're good to go.
He needs to be in Smash. That's the thing to do.
I think this game looks fantastic. I think the way they were fighting kind of made me think maybe like Pokken style fighting. So you're basically running around this arena, and then when you go and fight and engage to a certain point, then it switches to a side
That
scroller
could-
kind of
Okay.
fight style.
Kind of like
so.
you're
That could be
locked,
cool.
kind of like that third person. You're locked onto them, so the screen always follows right behind
Yeah.
you. But then when you're not actively engaged in combat, there's a lot more movement options.
Yeah.
Arms
Yeah.
did it first.
I think to piggyback on what you're saying there, I think one thing that was showcased in the trailer was the environments, at least in the city there, they looked very destructible, and they didn't necessarily interact with them,
Destructible.
but it did look like there would be some interactions
More
there.
destructible than Crackdown
So-
3. So.
It'll be interesting to
But then
see how
it's-
much of that they actually
Terry
implement.
Very gross.
Yeah. With that incorporation of Death Note, like, I'm to piggyback on what you were saying with the characters and stuff like that. I'm super excited if they drop like Attack on Titan in there, some Kamina, you know, some One Punch Man, like all these different like things.
Yeah.
Like
One Punch
they
Man
could
would be
really,
OP.
they
Yeah.
could take on
Yeah,
this
he
so
literally
much.
just-
It'll be
that's
interesting
it.
to see how it works with that scale because there's a lot of really cool classic characters that I'm sure people would want to see in a game like that.
Requests.
One for example would be Spike from Cowboy Bebop. He's a huge character,
yeah.
and I think this is a game that they could put him in for sure.
Mhm.
But he's just a dude who does martial arts and has guns, so it's kind of like obviously there's going to be that lack of realism.
But they put
I don't know,
Dark
man. They put,
characters in
they
this
put
one?
But,
Smash, Smash
the
Bros.
thing
and it
is,
works.
as far as movement options go, if they have like these huge available areas, is he gonna jump like 20 stories into the air and start floating around while punching people? Who knows?
I'm looking at
Maybe he does,
franchises
and I'm
they
into
own.
that.
Can they put? They could put Pac-Man in this.
Sweet.
They can put Dark
He's,
Souls characters
he's
in this
busy
if they
with
That,
want.
Smash Bros.
you know, just
Dark Souls character.
Yeah, these are the things they own.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur.
there's so much there that they can throw in.
Fuck
So.
around.
Put a
Soul Calibur.
30-foot dragon.
No, I'm very confident Ruben will be getting this
Yeah.
day one, so I'm pretty sure, you know, if I'm not getting him
What
myself
about you,
at some
Bump?
point, I'll be playing with him.
This is
This is definitely something he's into.
this is one where if they
It's a real
have the
Ruben
right
game.
cast
Oh, yeah.
for it, I'll buy this game.
I could see myself buying it in the right circumstances.
New
I'll
Gauntlet
play it.
title.
I'll play it.
You can say that about a lot of things.
I can see myself renting it.
Dying Light 2 was revealed.
Yes.
Got a pretty big showcase. I don't know if I'll be playing this. The first game
What'd
looked
you say,
interesting. Dying Light 2.
Dying Light.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be playing this. Didn't play the first one. It's in that first person camp. But the thing I was intrigued by, I think it'd be very, very minor, not compared to Detroit. But at one point they were talking about you making a decision. Then they showed, hey, if you kill this guy or you join their band, these were the different missions you would go. And if they zoomed out, they showed like all the different webs, kind of Detroit stuff. You play that game, flowchart shows you do this in the red, you can't do that anymore. And that's just a cool thing to add. And yeah,
Flowchart.
it looks cool.
I want to say the thing about that is that might have just been a visual for the trailer.
100%.
I don't think that's going to be a thing that is
Yeah.
going to actually be prevalent, and it might have just been to make it look real fancy, but there's probably not.
I think it will. I think it's just gonna be super big.
big.
No, I don't think it'll be as tense when he said hundreds of ways and they show this. I just think it will be something simple as maybe there'll be a certain path you can't go down. It won't be
Yeah.
very specific, but I think that's a cool thing to add to something they didn't have to add to the game. So yeah, I won't be buying it, but
With Dying Light 1, there were so many different, you know, paths and things you could choose that weren't as in depth as what they showed with this, but there were situations and scenarios where you could make decisions. You could choose to, you know, help this person inside this room, kill those zombies, but then that would be the extent of that. It wouldn't progress any further like they're doing now. So I feel like, you know, yes, it was obviously just purely for the state of the conference, but I feel like it will be not as basic as, you know, it could be taken as, but I feel like it will have a lot of thought and like work put into it. So it's something that the first one was lacking, and I was not expecting them to actually drop like a Dying Light 2 like that, because I thought the first one still has a lot going for it, and it has a really massive expansion for it. Story-wise, it is incredible. This is easily a day one purchase for myself. I can't wait to see exactly what more we get to see with this. They barely show the zombies, which builds my hype up even more. See what new kind of things we're going to be facing and dealing with. Just the parkour alone, it definitely can be a little overwhelming knowing like first person parkour, all that sense. But I mean, Mirror's Edge was a great stepping stone with that kind of thing, and I think
Brink tried it, but
what's that?
Brink tried it, but
Yeah.
now everyone forgets.
Oh,
about
Brink,
it.
yeah, that's very much.
Titanfall had it. Really good.
What's
Titanfall?
I've never heard of it.
Great game. One of the best games I've ever played.
There you go, yeah. But you never played the second.
I did. I
Hey.
bought it on the release.
Did you play it?
Yeah.
How many hours?
Probably about 8, 10.
Oh, not so bad.
I played through the campaign.
The campaign.
Most
campaign.
the campaign. Campaign. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, just
Enough of this.
the element just with this game and what it delivers, you know, when you're full on sprinting at night and you click your button to just kind of see what's behind you as you're running, and you have to plan and know,
Click your
okay, I
button.
climb up here, alleyways, there's zombies on the roof, there's zombies in the room, there's a horde behind me, there's these
There's
super
a whore
zombies,
behind
there's a horde of them behind me, like there's so many things you gotta take
Also-
into account.
hey, you owe me that money.
you. You're not getting away this time, little Jimmy.
Not on this road, bitch.
Get away from me,
Whose boat was it?
You're actually running towards the zombies.
Dad. I need my levels.
Wanna play some horse Crusar?
I was just looking for you, Jimmy.
Sorry.
But no, I can't stress enough. This game just it's right up there for me. So.
Yeah, this is a really good reveal for me. I mean, graphically it looked really strong, and I love the verticality aspect of it. I mean, I heard you guys talking about. I remember back to the Target days, you and Kirkland were always talking about Dying Light.
Oh yeah.
But I've barely like actually seen gameplay of it, so it was really cool to see. And like, you know, one thing I played Left 4 Dead recently, and I couldn't really get all into it. Like, obviously the pathways you're going on the levels are quite linear. But, you know, obviously parkour really just makes it so it feels like a more living, breathing world. And yeah, the verticality adds like a really interesting dynamic to
Crevices.
it. I'd love to see
Crevices.
big
Big
crevices.
thing in this season.
And honestly, like, it's got me pretty excited for this game. It looks really cool. I don't know if it's something I'll purchase, but I think it'd definitely be a cool game to watch. Check it out on Twitch or something. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I will check it out someday. It's I've always wanted to check out the first one, just never got around to it.
Have you played Dead Island by chance?
I have played Dead Island.
Did you like the weapon customizations and building and that sort of stuff?
I like the idea of it, but I feel like I couldn't really build a whole lot. I don't know, maybe I didn't play enough of it, or maybe I just didn't know what I was doing or something.
Between the two, like
Dead Island, the problem as well is that I played it on PC and the PC port is awful.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you're playing it on PC and it's like hit A to open this door and it's like showing the green A button. I'm like, the fuck, dude! I'm playing with a keyboard. What's going on right now?
Yeah.
Really like poorly done crossover. So
Dying Light.
I don't think I got the full Dead Island experience.
Yeah.
And I didn't play the second one either.
The Dying Light, just with this weapon building, it's really great. I feel like it's definitely a polished off version of Dead Island.
Polished
so,
off.
Yeah.
You love
Polish me
polishing
off.
stuff. Okay.
Whoa, come on, man.
Well, we gotta get Tyler's opinion, of course.
Yeah, come on, man. I wanted to ask you this, Taylor, because I had never played Down Like 1, but how much of the gameplay involved interacting like within the boundaries where the humans were? Because it seemed like a lot of it was going
The
from
day-night
little
cycle.
settlement to settlement, and just kind of even during the day you were mostly just doing errands in between settlements, and most of the gameplay was interacting with zombies rather than interacting with humans. That was more the cinematic aspect, and it looks like in this one there's going to be a lot of focus on your interactions with other humans, and it looks like zombies aren't a huge issue for a large portion of the game, or at least that section of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where it shows like there's a fairly stable human environment that seems fairly safe, and the biggest issue is going to be your interaction with other humans. And obviously there's going to be portions of the game where it's zombies, but is that a big change up from the first one?
Yeah, I mean, with the first one, it was very much like you have your main headquarters, basically, with all like
Yeah.
basic people and stuff. And then when you go out, I wouldn't say it's really like there's tons of other settlements out there. It's more or less you have a little safe house here, a little safe house here, with like a couple people that are located in them. The only other people you really like interacted a lot with would be like other factions that were bad people that you're having to deal with. This one, it was definitely heavily focused with zombies, forced you to go into situations that you didn't want to go into with zombies. This totally, from what we saw, 100% like human oriented, which I think is great, because that's a whole nother side that I didn't get to really see too much of with the first Dying Light. So, but I mean, it's been a while since I played the first one. I want to go back and play it now. It's super exciting.
Alright, that's really cool to see that they're adding that whole aspect thing, because obviously there's going to be a lot of zombie moments too, and parts where you're the main enemy zombies, but it looks like they're that kind of humanity aspect and that crisis, and how like these small settlements are going to interact with each other. And then I really like that they're adding in the aspect, a lot of games are doing it now, and I think it's great that more and more games are doing it, that how your decisions are going to change and manipulate the world. Maybe not necessarily in a huge faction where the story, where it like changes the story, and there's like different timelines, you could say, different story paths that you would go down depending on these decisions. Maybe the story is the same, but your whole experience of the game and how the atmosphere and environment changes, along with the kind of style you go with. A big one that kind of, I don't want to say pioneered it, but a big standout was one of my first experiences with Dishonored. And that the more people you killed, the more violent and aggressive guards are going to be, the more kind of like darker the environment is, and everything just seems
There's
a lot
like more
grim.
rats and stuff.
Yeah. And whereas if you do a lighter, less killing playthrough, it's going to be, everything's going to seem a lot more calm. There's less guards, and you can notice like the story itself is still going to be fairly the same, but
Just a couple endings.
yeah, it does change. Sort of, there are multiple endings you can get, but it's not like huge differences. You still play through the majority of the game the same way. It's just the gameplay experience is slightly different, and I think if this is something that they implement properly, it can be really cool, because it'd be really cool to see if, with one example, obviously you make water a scarcity, and you choose to selfishly profit off of it, and then you have these groups of people who are looking to hunt you down, and people are very violent and hostile towards each other, or you can choose to make the water a much more available resource, and then maybe your interactions with other people are more pleasant, everyone's happier, and maybe there's less zombie outbreaks and stuff. So it'll be really cool how they implement that throughout the rest of the game.
Absolutely. I don't know exactly, like, I have to remember where I am in, like, story standpoint, but, and where this happens in this timeline, but the rest of the world is unaffected. It was just a quarantined off very large city of the, so.
Yeah, because it was just that one city that got infected, and this looks like it might be the rest of the world's infected, and this one city is safe.
Yeah.
So that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in all, I think the presentation for this game was great. I really liked how it was all human focused, and then the developer came out and talked a little bit, and then they did the zombies that reveal at the very end.
Yeah. Showing the different elements of the game.
But yeah, I think this is great. This has got me really interested in. I remember when the first time it came out, I was super interested in it. I never ended up getting around to playing it because there was other games I was playing, and it was $60. But this has got me really interested in getting the first one, playing it, and then being ready for this one when it comes out.
Battletoads, never played it in my life. I just know it's a big meme.
Highlight of the
Quite a meme.
conference.
Well, it's an OG game, you know.
Yep.
I think
old
it's
school roots.
They did a great job capitalizing off the meme.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really nice. Didn't show anything substantial, just the title and
it'll be a game.
And play on the fact that it is a meme.
Yeah.
And Games Pass on launch.
I think that's.
Did it have the
I think
launch
it's
as well?
hilarious. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
Pretty goofy. Cool, you know, why not throw another game in there?
Yeah.
That was at the block when Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, okay, all these games you've never seen before," and they showed like all like
there was like a huge
and then like it was like
build up to
exclusive.
it.
Like, oh, this is the first exclusive.
And it had like the comic book stuff.
Yeah, and then it was just
Battletoads.
Just Cause 4 was released or announced, even though that came out a couple. Right now.
Look under your seats.
Even though that got leaked a couple days ago, but yeah, I always say this game. I've never played them. I got Just Cause 3 a few months ago from PlayStation Plus, and I love it. It's like a junk food for video games. It's your cheesy action movie where you just want to plug in and have a good time, and that's what it is. It's great for, hey, I got 30 minutes. I'm gonna go liberate this camp. I'm gonna go shoot a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna go do some stunts. It's great. I don't think I would buy this for a full purchase, but this is a game. Come time like a next Boxing Day or sale or something like that, I'd see myself purchasing because I've really enjoyed Just Cause 3. So and it looked good stuff. If I could do something with a tornado, that'd be great. So I hope that's not just one mission. You
Jump in
know?
a tornado.
Yeah, they looked like weather was changing quite a bit in this scenario, and honestly, the graphics look quite a bit better because Just Cause 3 is a good game, but it's still
always
pretty
seemed like it's a
dated.
couple steps down.
Yeah.
I've
this was
always
a lot
thought
smoother.
from what I've seen, Just Cause 3 looked really good.
Maybe I'm talking on console experiences as far as looking the greatest. For this looked, and who knows?
Yeah, this one did
console,
look
but-
really good too.
Yeah, so I am all aboard. At some point in my life, I will play this game because unless people think this is awful, but it's you don't get many. I think just kind of cheesy, fun games anymore. Like we do, but not to like on this type of scale. You know, GTA kind of is
Taking
that.
themselves so
type, but-
seriously.
Yeah, and this is.
We're just playing video games. We just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Why are you
so-
giving me good stories? Let me fucking shoot some planes and stuff.
It's like GTA, but you can jump out of planes and grapple onto buildings and stuff.
Yeah, it's like GTA when every once in a while, like the game will have like 2 to 3 missions of the crazy stuff you do, just cause it's just those crazy missions, and
Yeah.
I love it. So
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. Just Cause games haven't really been for me. I tried playing 2, played like an hour or 2 into it. Seemed pretty fun, but not for me. At least it didn't hold me. But
Didn't hold you
I
close.
think it definitely has. It's great, really great game. Good reveal.
Good reveal.
Yeah, and I think that's all you can really ask for from a conference. Good reveal.
It's true.
Last Just Cause I played was Just Cause 2. I found my one problem with that was I wasn't doing story missions. I just spent too much time dicking around, having too much fun.
100%.
So, I mean, that
It's a
being
good
said,
problem to have.
it is. I
Having
mean,
fun.
it doesn't take away from the game at all. I mean, it's just it's
DC
fun.
could use that problem.
So
They tried.
I'm definitely at some point will be playing this. I definitely felt like 3 and 2 very similar graphically.
Yeah.
This definitely looked hugely like on a step in the right direction.
Bigly.
Hugely. So
Graphic and overall.
I definitely do plan on playing this at some point. Game Pass. So
That's
You're
gonna
just
be
praising the
everything,
Game Pass
yeah.
God now.
If you get
Praising
Game Pass,
Game Pass
legitimately,
gods.
if it's still out there, give Mad Max a whirl. It's quite fun. It's a
Mad
very
Max?
underrated game. Then you got your Gears block. They revealed Gears Pop, Gears Tactics, and Gears 5. Gears Pop makes sense. It's a mobile game. You know, do take advantage of it. Gears Tactics, I will never play. And then Gears 5. All of these guys defend it. I played the whole trilogy out. I just feel like we're at the point where it looks like it's kind of jumped the shark, and it feels like those like horror movies when they're in the Halloween 6, Halloween 5, and it's just like we really have nothing to do, and we're kind of just too much butter over too little bread, or whatever Bill says. I always fuck it up. But either way, it's
I think too much bread over too little butter.
it's something like that. Too much butter, not enough butter, scooped up, whatever. I'll get the quote one day. Either way, just the story stuff they were showing, I was like, I feel like we've been here before, we've done this before. The new characters, I don't know, because I didn't play the new game, so I'm making a snap judgment. They don't look exciting at all. They all look super pretty and super just like, it just looks like when they make a reboot and it's like the hot young, it's just like a movie we just saw recently, Jigsaw. Like, sorry spoilers, but it's like original Saw. It's like a decrepit old cancer man. This guy's like guy with abs, and he's really. But it's like, of course, in 2018, this would be Jigsaw. Like, this guy looks like a fucking supermodel. And that's what this looks like. It's like the new crop of the Gears of War cast are all like young, good looking, and sexy haircuts. So it's just like, I feel like it's kind of gone. I'll never play these games again. I played the OG trilogy. I'm good.
I'll go quick because I don't have a whole lot to say. I think this is a good little block for them in their conference. Like I said at the beginning, Gears Pop, cool. Why not throw a little mobile game out there? Gears of War Tactics, I think, is a perfect fit for the series and a nice spin-off. I guess it's prequel too. So if you're really into Gears, cool. It gives you some backstory on some characters and maybe some locations or something. That obviously I prefer like Fire Emblem over XCOM. I've tried them both. I haven't played XCOM a whole lot just because I always kind of preferred Fire Emblem, but I have to admit that Fire Emblem games have been big dipping in recent times, so maybe it's time for me to jump ship and hop over to this game and try it out.
Like butter scraped over too much bread. I did have it right. It just doesn't actually make much sense.
But you didn't say scrape though.
What did I
It's
say?
really important
I
to have the
said
word
over-
scrape in there.
I said
there's
too much butter over
bread, but this is not enough butter.
It's just
and too
butter
much bread.
scraped over too much bread. What does that even mean?
It means that there's not enough butter to cover the bread. You're throwing too much bread in the butter.
But also too much bread. You don't want too much bread.
Yeah. It's there. You have only so much butter, but there's a huge amount of bread, and you're trying to spread the butter all over the bread.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're literally just scraping.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be scraping it. You want it to just like
You want to have a nice
flow.
I fully understand what he says, but at least now I still know that it worked for what I was using. So
Travis was right. Is that what you're going for?
Well, actually,
Hashtag Travis was
I said
right.
the same more correctly than you did. But
as
we'll
for
let it slide this time.
Gears 5, I mean, this trailer was all story and characters. Characters I don't know because I didn't play the other Gears. I don't like the gameplay of Gears games, so I'm not interested in that regard. So I hand out to you too.
I thought the little Gears Pop thing was a funny little fake out into being like something super
funny little
disappointing.
footnote.
Into being 2 more Gears games. Gears Tactics is really cool. It's not something that I really needed from the franchise. It'll be
I'm
interesting
surprised
to
because
see
you love
how
XCOM
big-
and you love Gears, so isn't it like a combo of like two things you love?
Yes, but I feel like I never really wanted those 2 things to be the same thing.
I don't know why. I'm with Dylan.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
Why not? Because like also Gears 5.
I don't know.
It's not like it's a replacement. It's not like this is
It
the
doesn't
direction
feel
they're going.
like-
Yeah. No more gears, just tech.
I don't know. It just doesn't. For me, I have like this thing of like this is what Gears should be, and it's kind of moving away from that. I guess.
Hashtag no
It's
more
just
gears.
focusing on the strategy.
Yeah,
element
it's
of
hashtag
Gears.
on my Gears. But yeah,
because you get
fair
to
enough.
play it. You get to essentially play as your whole team. So now you can really plan out the whole positioning of it and like throwing grenades to cut off certain areas and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see how it goes. It's hard to say what I don't
I want
like
you to
about
play the
it,
game.
but
And tell me how it is. Is the reason.
I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up checking it out because Gears just has way too much nostalgia.
I could see
for me.
Gears Tactics being like $4 game, you know, cheaper.
Yeah, it like from what we saw, it didn't look like it was a super expensive.
That's my prediction.
game.
Just because the name, I wonder if they do the 40. I'm not saying the quality, but just because Gears, we gotta, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gears popped, you know.
I
It's
think-
not gonna be like $60.
I think the
It
big
is.
thing though is like Gears Tactics and also having Gears 5. I think if they're both full price games, then Tactics will just kind of.
dwindle.
Well, we didn't get a date on any of this stuff, so we have
This is
no
true.
time.
And this is the first tease of Gears 5. Too.
Yeah.
So
It was a pretty big tease too. That's
Yeah.
a tease.
Well,
Halo.
when they teased Gears 4, I think it was still at least a couple years before it even released.
no, it
didn't
pretty
release
quick.
No, I don't think so. Because they revealed like a one main mission from the game, and then I don't think they even dropped a date at that point. And they did. I think it was still a couple of years before.
Maybe.
Always drop dates. And so far, that Walmart leaks, all those games are right so far. So
Really?
No.
I gotta see. I gotta see
new
what.
Halo game, new Gears game, you know. So
Yeah.
Walmart Canada.
Dropping news.
So I'm not super excited about Gears Tactics, but I'll be interested to see how it turns out as a full game. Gears 5, it still got me interested, but I probably won't end up getting it. I think Gears 3 was like 1 through 3, as you said, that was
Great
kind
trilogy.
of my premium Gears experience. I got Gears 4 just off the hype. Didn't feel like the same game. It felt like a different game in the same skin. It
The
didn't.
sexier,
and-
younger
yeah.
skin.
And it didn't really. It wasn't what a Gears game was.
It's a serial
A
killer
big thing
game.
that was a huge letdown for Gears 4. I mean, if you haven't played the game by now, I mean, I'm just gonna throw a spoiler.
And then there was Judgment as well.
literally Judgment. yeah,
What?
Judgment. But the game, it finished with you being in giant mechs fighting another giant boss battle. Like the whole last act of the game was you just piloting a giant mech and
A cliffhanger.
a big cliffhanger, and then apparently none of how the game ended has been addressed in this trailer. It's just like a huge time skip. So
Yeah.
it's not the Gears that I know and love. So I'm happy to just not really play any more Gears and
Oh.
just keep the 1 to 3 kind of trilogy as it is.
Sounds like this is the prequel trilogy for
So
Gears.
yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I know, especially Gears 4, like it doesn't have a huge online following
Yeah.
anymore compared to like Gears 1 through 3. Like the online was huge for years after each release until the next release, whereas this one, I remember Gears 4 had pretty decent popularity, but then it dwindled for a little bit, and I don't even know if it's doing that well anymore.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes. Cool reveal and all, but it's I'm not sold on it.
Side note for me, I don't know. Marcus to me looks younger than he did in the OG trilogy. I don't know why.
That's the secret.
He doesn't look like he's aged much.
Yeah, he looks way like, especially in Gears 4, he looked way older, and then now he's just
Moisturizer.
Benjamin
It's a
Button.
trick.
Yo, wow.
Yeah,
There's lots of that.
JD looks older than him.
Yeah,
His
that's
son looks
unfortunate.
older than him.
That's
in-
unfortunate.
That's not
in
what you
this
want.
trailer.
Say what you're gonna, and then I had some vital news you'll like to hear.
Okay. Gears of
Canceled
War Pop.
Assassin's Creed.
Gears of War Pop looked like a fun little thing for the kids that can't. They're not old enough yet to play an 18 rated M game. You know, give them the iPad and let them go to town. So
I'll go to
it's
town.
great. Tactics, I love 110% that they're doing a little bit of a spin-off with Gears of War. I think Halo Wars, you know, when you look at the main Halo games, Halo Wars is fantastic. It has a good following for it that like people that love what this game is, like, and I love strategy and RTS games in that sense. And Gears of War, like something that you mentioned earlier, like when you're in these battles in Gears of War and you're going down these streets and these alleyways, it's just the landscape fits perfectly for a tactical layout,
Mhm.
just to plan with your squad and just set up the locations and your strategies. And I didn't even like, I always looked at it from this point of view, like this third person point of view in this scenario, and I don't know why. And seeing it now, like I wish I could put 2 and 2 together sooner, but it makes sense looking at it being displayed this way, and I'm very excited to give it a try and play it out. And then Gears 5, I quite enjoyed, you know, story-wise, the fourth one. That being said, they did open up, you know, a can of worms that didn't need to be opened up story-wise. The game concluded. They could have moved on to bigger and brighter things.
It sounded like it didn't conclude.
No, Gears 3.
Gears 3, yeah.
That concluded. Gears 4 is what I'm saying. Opened up a can of worms that it opened up a story that didn't need to be open. They were doing it, obviously, at the end of the day, probably for more money. You know, continue off with more games.
For money? No.
No.
Who would do such
A company making money?
A game making Gears Pops is looking for money.
But you know, that being said, the story wise, I enjoyed the story. You know, I got pulled right in and following these characters and learning out like what's going on in this world and that sort of stuff. The ending definitely left on a cliffhanger, and it had my jaw like drop, thinking like, "Whoa, this is intense." So I'm more than excited to see exactly what this new story is. If it's a significant time jump, it's gonna be a little bit like, oh, well, that's shitty, but I can overlook that because I'm a guy who's story driven. I like stories in these video games, so I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Story driven.
Multiplayer, yeah, that's always a fun thing to tackle. I'm not surprised the multiplayer didn't really do good with Gears 4 because to earn tokens to buy things in that game was god awful. When a pack to get weapon skins and that stuff would be like 2,000 tokens, you only get like 14 tokens every game, and every game can take a long time.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
You can get 16 if you were really good.
Loot boxes.
Yeah, very poor implementation of loot boxes, but single player, I'm excited for this.
Single player.
Some details were released about Halo Infinite, just a few of them. Infinite will employ the new Slip Space engine, which was created by 343 Industries specifically for Halo. According to the post on Halo Waypoint, the studio heard loud and clear that players weren't fond of how little time Master Chief was featured as a playable character in Halo 5. As such, Halo Infinite will center around Master Chief and continue his story after what transpires in Guardians. Additionally, Halo Infinite will feature a new modernized art style showcased by Master Chief's new helmet in the trailer that pulls from the most iconic and historic parts of the Halo franchise, as well as feedback from other players. So it could be literally Halo 6 as now it's a new title, like instead of Halo 5, Halo 6, and it looks like that new look might not be, the graphics are bad, they're just taking a new art style, which maybe you're not a fan of. So that's
not a fan of that.
Kind of what it sounds like they might be doing.
Sounds very disappointing.
So who knows? They've not fully said, like, this post doesn't say it's a Halo, but the way they're talking about it's following Master Chief, it sounds like this is Halo 6. It sounds like this is almost like a soft reboot of the franchise.
I feel like this is not good. Like Halo
Taylor will love it in a few months. Don't worry.
Halo Wars 2 and Halo 5 Guardians both ended in ways that actually their stories, the way they both end, connect to each other in a huge way, setting up for the next installment. Obviously, the final one in this trilogy. And if you just create your last
trilogy. Sorry, what do you mean?
This was like 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
Like Halo would be the end of this new.
But you said so Halo Wars 2, the ending.
Halo Wars 2, its ending of that stacked up with Halo 5 Guardians.
That's like Avengers
to the next
so like
one.
two different stories at the same time that ended the same.
Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Infinity War.
So
Saw 3, Saw 2.
You don't.
That's really cool. Actually, I like that.
It is. Like I wasn't expecting that at all, and it was perfect, and it got me so amped for when Halo 6 was gonna drop, but. You don't do like 4, 5, and then your 6 game completely different graphic art style and just gameplay. Like I feel like it's completely changed, and it doesn't make sense. I feel like the way if you're gonna tackle and bring out a brand new graphic style and all that stuff, do it in
7, like the reboot.
7, do it in your soft reboot.
8,
do it
9,
in a complete like a spin-off game or something like that. But when you have like Halos 1 through 5, Reach, ODST, all these games, and they all have a great graphic style to them, and they're all building up towards something. And especially in Halo 6, I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know. That's just
those
really
valid
upsetting.
points, Taylor. I would not give you valid points if the stories weren't interconnecting. If it was like 6 is just a new Halo, it's a new game, we're gonna redo it. But if it is kind of ending the story of things, it's strange to switch it up now. I think they're switching it up because
maybe it's like an alternate dimension.
Wow.
Maybe it could have to do with the engine, and this works better with the engine.
Yeah, I think they're also switching things up because
sense.
obviously with the fans with the complaint about Master Chief, and I think they said the last Halo, and it's because obviously the install base is smaller, but it sold a lot less than they were wanting it to. Not a lot less, but it didn't meet the expectations they were hoping as far as Halo, their biggest franchise.
But that's where I want to ask. Okay, was that because you took out split screen co-op? You implemented less Master Chief, or were people complaining about the graphics? I don't think so. The graphics were fucking fantastic in Halo 5. So,
yeah, but you don't know. They might be bring back split screen co-op as well. So this could be a whole thing of like, hey, even though we're in the middle of this trilogy, we want to just really reboot Halo, kind of without the story aspect, and just make it new for people. We'll see what else, but it sounds like that's what they're trying. But yeah, split screen will be a big thing to see if they bring back.
I honestly like. Maybe I need to watch it again, but the graphics like.
Watch it
a bit
again.
different, but it wasn't all that jarring to me.
Yeah.
Actually, I was also setting up the stream, so maybe I missed the first like couple of seconds or something.
Like I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a Fortnite Halo
got you
skin
covered,
or
though.
something like that. Like
I got you covered.
it's just
I was gonna pull the trailer for you right now to watch on mute.
I don't know. It just the slip space engine that they're dishing out, it does not look that impressive for a final rendition of this franchise. You know. Just not something.
Keep
to
it
do.
consistent.
It's still like
the
a
finale.
tease.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I think it is important to wait, especially for this with how little we actually saw.
Yeah,
it's
that's
important to
something
see
to-
how things start to shape up going in the future, but
Yeah, you can watch that.
we'll see how things go.
So Cyberpunk, while he's watching that, Cyberpunk, that was the way they end the conference. I like the way they did that. Phil Spencer was talking about it's been a great year of all these games and everything like that, and then someone's like hacking the thing and taking over. And I love the whole like there's like E3 trailer, this and that. And yeah, I don't think it was a big reveal because we knew the game was coming. I think it was really smart the way they did it and they placed it. The game, I don't know because we didn't get much of. This is a game I guess I'm just excited for because of the history of it and because the backbone of it. I was late to Witcher 3. I wanted to play it. I'm a big fan of RPG games. I love games where I can make a choice. The biggest thing about Cyberpunk that I really enjoyed was the world building. There's just one moment where this girl's putting makeup on, they have a shot of her eyes, and then they zoom out and she has like no mouth or whatsoever. And
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Blade Runner. This gave me a lot of Altered Carbon vibes as well. So I like dystopian, like future android, like futures. I said futures 3 times, but we didn't get any gameplay, so I want to see that because that's one of my biggest things. Is I love The Witcher, but I actually hate the gameplay as far as not hate, but like the action and the sword fighting. I'm not the biggest fan. It's sometimes still not the smoothest, so I want to see a bit of that. I want to see am I using guns, that I got some powers, I don't know, but it was the world of Cyberpunk that got me really excited. And this is a game that, just because of the track record of the company, I'm a big Gwent fan as well, that this could be a day one purchase for me because I like that they're doing, it reminds me of Rocksteady, or how I always fuck it up, Rockstar, when it's like they did GTA and then Red Dead, Jesus Christ. They did Red Dead. I like that. They do The Witcher and they're doing Cyberpunk, which is completely different. Like, obviously, not medieval times, not magic. It's a completely new take. And, yeah, that game, Witcher, I get lost in side quests all the time. I love the progression system. I love the RPG elements. I love a lot of that game. So, yeah, I'm very excited for Cyberpunk. Like I said, I really liked it. I think there's a bit more I didn't get wowed, but I just loved the world building aspect. And I guess maybe the first screenshots they showed years ago, it seemed like it was a bit more like darker future, where this was very bright and very lively, so that caught me off guard. So now that I know I'm getting into, expectations are kind of there. So yeah, I really liked. I thought it was a good way to end that too, because that's been a game that's been talked about for years. CG Projekt has a lot of hype right now, so I thought it was a good way to end. You know, I would prefer them ending on an exclusive, but you know, but for myself, it was good. I'm excited. No date for that game, so I don't know, but
I'm glad they didn't put a date because CD Projekt Red's really good about being it's ready when it's ready.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're sticking to that because
that's why I wanted a date. This wouldn't be ready right now.
This is a game for me that I've like since the first reveal of that trailer where that female android or cyborg just goes ham and just slaughters a bunch of people. That like
was
ever
a few years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But ever since that, like I've always been like super in love with this game, and especially with the recent influx over the past couple years of games being released, kind of being pushed out and being forced to be released even though they might not be ready, and having like day one patches and whatnot. And I know CG Projekt Red is reliable for this kind of thing, but really taking their time and just making sure everything is just perfect. For everything is how they want it to be when the game's finally released. So I'm glad they're sticking to that at least. That's very heartwarming for me.
And it was just a cinematic cutscene as well, so we didn't get to see a graphic.
But I think it's really good the world building they did. They kind of set up the tone and environment that the game's going to be in.
It was a world that I saw it and they said it was cut off guard how like bright and how I thought it would be almost a bit more depressing, which is fine. I just got to change expectations. It's a world that I still wanted to go jump and explore now. That's the biggest thing where they showed like a lot of stuff, just
robots or whatever they could be, just the way they're like charging themselves, and they had like different ways. Like you could see there was whatever they have, almost like that Kylo Ren coding in Last Jedi, but they had different ways. Like someone would be up there, it'd be like this. Like I don't know what's going on, but I want to find out what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think all the brightness and stuff, that is going to be one aspect of the game. I think there's going to be a lot more to it. I think there is going to be that kind of darker, grittier stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks like, obviously, there's going to be like a whole lot of very crime focused, I think.
Yeah.
But I think it just looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm still super stoked for this game.
I'm ready. I want this game as soon as possible for it to be ready. But I'm ready for it to happen. So
Yeah, 100%. So I'm excited. I'm hoping 2020, 2021.
I hope it. Yeah.
I don't think we'll get it
2077.
I want 2019.
I don't think we'll get 2019.
Really? Because this game was revealed so long ago. Really? Yeah. I got Spider-Man.
But we'll see. Either way, I think it was a really cool reveal. I'm glad. I think they did a great job setting up the tone, keeping people excited, and just really keep letting us know that they're still there.
Yeah, and
still doing stuff.
we just jumped into this, but that's a trailer that I'm gonna watch again because I feel like there's so many little things going on in the background of the world. It looks pretty full.
Looks pretty cool. Yeah, this one I'm curious. I'm really curious. Witcher. I played Witcher 3. I didn't really get a whole lot. I didn't get that far into it, honestly. I think the big thing for me is combat. I find a lot of combat. Like even Shadow, I know you guys like Shadow of Mordor combat, but I don't like combat in either of those two games. I think those kind of like third person, more hack and slash sort of games, my problem with them is I never really like get all that immersed in it, and that's why I like when I finally jumped into Dark Souls and you feel like the weight of your weapon and each swing like has a consequence. And so the combat was a big thing that kept me out of it, but Witcher 3 really is a game I should go back and play because there is so much more to it. Other than the combat, and I'm sure we'll get to a point where I can get over it and just enjoy the other stuff in the game. But yeah, this one has me interested. Obviously, I like that they're taking it in a different direction. Just do something new. Why not? And yeah, I'm curious because it seems like a really fun world to just explore, investigate, and really, I know Witcher. You can just talk to a lot of random people, and you can really feel like the world building. You can kind of do as much of that as you want, and if you're willing to spend the time to just go to some random building and talk to these people and see what's going on, then it seems like they put a lot of care into letting you do that in a lot of situations. So I like that, and I think the world building aspect of RPG games is really important as well because your decisions are going to mean so much more if you have a big investment in the game and the world. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye on this game and curious to see more trailers and gameplay. Obviously, a really big thing.
That's a big thing. Yeah, I want to see.
Because I imagine, it'll be a third-person sort of adventure exploration in the same realm as Witcher 3. Obviously, I would imagine combat is going to be different, but yeah, interested for sure.
Well,
good reveal, good trailer, and I really liked the way they did it at the end of that conference.
Yeah.
How they kind of like cut off Phil Spencer and went to like this hack glitch thing. That was really inventive. I thought it was creative.
The other thing that could be really different than Witcher is also Witcher. You move, you can have fast travel, you got the horse. They stressed like his vehicle quite a bit. Like it could have just been for the cool vehicle, but just the way he got in, they slowly showed it start and then back up, and they go really fast. There's a good chance maybe there is going to be cars in this game, and I don't know how much that will change.
Cars?
But yeah, that excites me quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Futurama.
Yeah.
I think visually it looked fantastic. I never heard anything about Project Red. Is that what it's called?
CG Project Red.
Yeah. So this is just—it's not like a sequel to anything or anything like that. It's its own thing that's been in the works
for a while. They made Witcher 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, that's the developer.
Oh,
CG Project Red. This game is called Cyberpunk.
2077.
Yeah. I call it 3 different things.
Yeah. No, I think it looks really, really awesome. It looks like it's a lot of fun. Yeah. No, I'm excited to eventually give it a try.
And one thing as well, like. One thing I know with Witcher 3 is that the DLCs that they had are
really good.
Yeah, incredibly just filled with content. You really get your money's worth. So it's cool. I'm sure this game will get a lot of support after the games actually come out as well. And obviously it's not free DLC, but when they actually do have a DLC ready to go, like you're saying,
it's
fully ready to go. Yeah, it's like a whole new experience of the game.
Yeah,
big story, new characters, all this.
Like the amount of content that they provide
they make it worth it.
For it is just phenomenal.
Yeah, like
And it's all extra stuff, right? It's not like there's something missing from the original game.
Yeah, I've been like Witcher 3, but I still feel like there's so much I still want to do in that game and go back. And I always plan to like, oh, when I finish these games, I'm gonna go back. And I usually do. I usually get like, oh, I got a couple days or some hours, but like that's one of those games where I wish I had the power to freeze time and just like, okay, I'm gonna finish this everything.
Play for a quick 100 hours.
There's so much I want to do in it, you know.
It's that game where you play through it. And then you take a break from it, play some other new games that come out, and then in between waiting for new releases, you keep going back to that game.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to do.
I'm a big KOTOR fan, so that's the closest I got.
KOTOR.
Star Wars, let's come on, CD Projekt Red, give them
Vince.
Star Wars. Just like, you know what, Vince, no longer they're making the Star Wars game.
You missed the Vince meme yesterday, but
we'll
show you the clip from the EA conference, which was hilarious.
So that was all the conference, and let's get out of here and do an overall rating because we got
Bethesda's
Bethesda in an hour actually. It's 6:30 I read, so I'm not sure if they moved up a little bit, but still
it's like what 5?
We gotta rest the throat, you know.
Gotta rest the throats.
Yeah, I will give this a 3.5. I think if I would have got a bit more games that
we're doing out of 5. I thought it was out of 10.
Oh yeah, boom. I think if I would have got a few more bigger games, not even just for myself that were like holy shit moments or like really exciting trailers, I would have bumped it up to the 4. Pacing was good, but yeah, a 3.5. It was a good conference. I think pacing was good, but the placement of things was a little off. I wasn't ever bored. I think there was no, everything I worried was gonna be bad. Like the Forza demo, like stayed small. At one point, I was worried when we saw like 10, like hundreds of screens on stage. But yeah, good conference. Not a 4, but good conference. I think
for me, I'm gonna drop it the big 4 easily. Pacing wise, not even just comparing to last year, but pacing in and of itself was really good. And I like what they did, like stop from talking about the games to talk about like the part where they're talking about the developers, new studios they have. And then also the Game Pass, I think those are good things to kind of slow down the conference and talk about those. And yeah, a lot of really cool new games. We didn't talk about, I guess you didn't write it down, Session, like the skateboarding game that's coming out. I thought it was Skate 4 at first. I guess it's like essentially, like someone, EA's not going to make Skate 4, we'll make it ourselves. And then they have a Kickstarter, that's what Session is. So, I don't know, I'm curiously going to watch that game as well because I've been waiting for Skate 4. I don't think I'm going to be getting it, so maybe I'll get Session instead, so we'll see how much it is when it releases. But, yeah, no, I thought there was a lot of really interesting games in here, like, Jump Force was a really interesting one that kind of struck out, and seeing the new Soulsborne game, the next game from, From Software is always going to be interesting. And then even, some games that I'm not like necessarily interested in buying, but were still fun to see. Like I like the Forza demonstration. I thought it was cool. And there's a couple of like disappointments. Oh, I don't know. I was gonna say Crackdown 3. It's not really disappointing because that was kind of what I expected for it. I think the reason this doesn't hit a 5 for me, I gave that Sony conference a 5 because that was like I'm gonna buy this console, and I did, and I'm playing all those games now. So this wasn't a console seller for me. But it was still a really interesting conference. I wasn't bored at any point. I think it had really good pacing and so a really good improvement for Xbox as well. Like I'm not giving it a 4 high score just because it's better than last year. I'm giving it a 4 because of its quality on its own. But really good for Xbox. I think it was interesting what you said earlier, Taylor, that they have like different focuses every year, and it's cool. I'm glad that this year their focus was just games because that's what people wanted. So they did what the fans wanted and. Boom, they have a lot of games. Yeah, not all of it's exclusives, but it's still like it was a conference that was entertaining to watch from start to finish, and it gives me a lot of things to talk about and think about, coming up in the next year or 2 when these games come out. And, a lot of really good stuff for the Xbox owners. Like that Game Pass stuff is insane. Like that's some really crazy good value for people who have the console. So
that's gonna be very interesting how that plays out.
I'm really curious to see how they tackle that exactly.
That could, if it works out well, could be a very great selling point for the new Xbox. Like they could be loaded with a lot of stuff. So console wars might not be over.
Yeah. So 4 stars for me.
I think I'm actually gonna give it a clean 4 too.
Clean 4.
I think it did everything that a conference needed to do. I'm sure some of the trailers weren't as great as the others, but that's not really the conference's fault necessarily. I think they did a great job of really focusing on games, lots of reveals. There was a couple obviously technicality things that weren't so great. A lot of the cutting was I think that's just poor timing, which is unfortunate for us, but it wasn't like a huge thing that really ruined the conference for me.
Yeah.
The talking parts were, as far as my experience goes with press conferences, it was pretty to a minimum. There was some marketing talk from Phil Spencer at the start and at the end, but I don't think it really took away too much. Though I think like a lot of the pacing of a lot of the reveals was good. They never spent too much time on a single game, and then a lot of when they're going through like a lot of the indie games and smaller titles, they managed to cut through that. They showed a lot of really interesting stuff, and I don't necessarily remember all the names of those games, but there's games that I would be interested in, like games revealed at E3 and looking at those later on. And so they cut through a lot of the things. The studio acquiring reveal was great, and then obviously they had some pretty big reveals throughout the show too.
True.
So I think it was lacking It was lacking that kind of atmosphere and emotion, I want to say, that I got out of Sony 2 years ago. So that's why it's still just a plain old 4. But as far as
nothing wrong with a plain old 4.
No. And as far as the game conference go, I enjoyed it. I saw what I wanted to see, and there's room for improvement. But I think they're going in the right direction.
Nice.
Xbox,
Mr. Xbox.
Yeah,
he's Mr. Ubisoft actually.
Mr. Ubisoft, right?
Ubisoft.
I'm gonna give this a 4.5. I'm not gonna go with the full 5 because I just feel like, coming off presentation-wise, I feel like the way that majority of the world at least, is watching this on live streams, can't even see the dates or the subtitles. I mean, these titles that they're world premieres, exclusive premieres, console premieres. I think
no confusion.
This was not displayed properly and very well. I think that's very unfortunate. That being said, I think this is a very, very great conference that they did. I think, like I said before, this is the stepping stone for them to lead to something great. And what they're striving towards just gets me really, really excited for, like, being an Xbox fan. For me, it's always paid off, but now we're heading towards that direction that I'm finally going to get to fully enjoy being an Xbox player with all of this access to so much that this company has delivered. I think that, game-wise, I think there was no point in time I was bored. I was totally sucked in. I didn't sit around there waiting like, oh, I just want to get to Gears, I just want to get to Halo, I just want to get to this and that. Every title that they dropped was intriguing, and it had a hook for me, and I'm just, especially with the Game Pass too, and adding new companies under their wing to work on these new exclusive titles for them. It's like I said, this is just a perfect starting point for them, and I am very much excited to see where this is going to go.
Starting point, that's sad.
Starting point. Well, I shouldn't say starting point because it's been a few E3s in the making. But starting point game-wise, this has me feeling,
5 to be exact.
It has me feeling very passionate to be an Xbox fan now, and 4.5. At the end of this, like, I'm looking forward to kind of like categorizing like which conference I like the most, like compared, like going down the list, like my first conference, like this one the most and this one the most.
It's pretty easy so far.
Figured out.
Well, I mean, when we get to the end, like going into this E3, like I was very much, I don't want to say I was most anticipated for Nintendo's on Tuesday, but I'm just Tuesday. I've been really excited to see actually what they're gonna bring over the other, Ubisoft and Xbox, because I just felt, they're gonna do their job and they're gonna do something great. But I'm really getting excited as we progress, and Bethesda's happening soon, so I'm more than happy to see Todd Howard. He's not hanging with Phil Spencer anymore, so
that's gonna be an interesting cast. I think that they could go one way or the other. There's gonna be a lot of hype or a lot of disappointment in the room.
A lot of Starfields.
Arcane.
I brought my friend Phil Spencer over here.
They just
talk about Halo Infinite.
They just played the entire Xbox conference.
Developed by Bethesda.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you want the links, say that I'm cutting you off, you can go below because this has been going for a while and we gotta recover. So if you want the links, go below, go to our website, go to social media. If you're watching this live, we'll see you in a few hours for Bethesda. You come join our watch along for some shenanigans and we'll be doing the review. And if you can't catch the stuff live, go to SoundCloud, go to iTunes, and all our other podcast services, and you can find them on replay. Please download,
like, subscribe, all that good jazz. We'll see you in a bit, and then we'll be boring.
See you in a bit.
Later, nerds.
Ah!
Dying
I'm
to
hungry.
Kirk